Hailing frequencies are finally open. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Last Excelsior, our Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition campaign that we're playing here with the StreamPunks. We're getting started a little late tonight. Thank you so much for our patience. Some of us are just coming back from Gen Con and are recuperating from that. And and as you can tell, that has jazzed some of us up so much that we're all out of uniform compared to Noir right now. A little self-conscious right now. It's good to be back. We're going to go ahead and just jump into some quick announcements tonight since we started late, and then we're going to jump into our game. Does anybody have anything they'd like to kick off before we get underway? Yeah, Caitlin.
Super duper fast. I just want to say a huge thank you to April and Danny and the rest of Modifius at Gen Con. They were so lovely for hosting me and Noir at the booth for a little while. We got to meet some people and say hi, and they gave us books. So thank you, extra thank you for that. But they were just so lovely to hang out with and chat with, and I think both of us were over there multiple times this weekend. So shout out to them, and thanks for the books.
Yeah, where's my book? Thank you guys. And a big shout out just in general to Modifius. Sam was the one that pointed it out that we are actually referenced in the back of the book. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you crack open your book and look at the very back index, you will see that Modifius gave the StreamPunks a big shout out and thank yous. So thank you, Modifius, for putting us in your book again. Anybody else have any other announcements that they'd like to make tonight? Anything else? Yeah, go ahead, Nor.
So tomorrow, Noirville 312 is having a one-shot called When Bad Meets Evil. This is going to be the first one-shot featuring an entire villain cast. They're very excited to be doing evil things, and I'm very worried about our heroes. So we'll see how this pans out. But it's going to be on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheNoirEnigma at 7 p.m. Central. We've got some amazing players. They've been super excited, and I can't wait to show you. And just last thing, thank you, all of you who came to the StreamPunks meetup at Gen Con. It was lovely to meet you. You said some incredibly kind things, and it just means the real to us.
Oh, man, did y'all meet out at the food trucks?
Oh, we met at the Modifius booth.
Modifius hosted us.
Yeah. We've upgraded. Oh, man. Oh man, Modifius booth. What? That's great.
There was a whole photo backdrop and everything.
We had phasers and tricorders. Yeah. It was real dope.
Just as a quick aside, before we move on, I just want to point out, if you guys have been following Bonnie is obviously not with us tonight because Bonnie is on her way back from STLV, to which she had a good time. The irony is that she was at STLV playing D&D. So. But she'll be on her way back and we'll have her back next weekend. So we miss you, Bonnie, jerk. Anybody else have anything they'd like to announce before we get started tonight? Nothing else? Okay. All right. Yes, Sam.
Mercury has a miles thick layer of diamond inside it.
We know, Sam. Okay. I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to finally just be like, Sam belts out something incredibly intelligent and wonderfully insightful, and we all act like we already knew. Sorry.
So that one hurt my feelings.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, I was going to be excited, but now. I mean, we better run the intro. I just don't know.
This is what happens when you spin threat before the game even starts.
I just wanted to know how many C's in that thick. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Check out my YouTube to find out. youtube.com/@delovely.
All right. With that, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of the Last Excelsior. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and jump into the game where we last left off. This will be the final part of our premiere episode. You are all here in this system called the Tanyoto system, having received a distress call. You've already saved a freighter from detonating, and you've managed to save the crew that was left, as well as the civilians that were on board this freighter, beaming who had survived back over to the Pride. Triage has been set up. I do want to add something a little extra here. As there has been a lot of action taking place in this particular episode, it is worth noting that the USS Pride is currently only at half of its crew complement. You were all en route to Starbase 16 to complete crew transfers and to acquire the remaining peregrines that you all needed for the flight tests you were supposed to conduct when you were all completely diverted from this flight path to rescue a bunch of people. This is translating into having something of a skeleton crew for the Pride. Hasn't been a big deal yet, thankfully, because you haven't had to go into combat or initiate any kind of repairs. However, the Pride is starting to feel it a little bit right now because, as a quick reminder, you have an entire freighter of civilians, many of whom were exposed to noxious gases from the damage that the freighter sustained, currently being triaged on the cargo deck. The medical staff of the USS Pride is being stretched thin right now, to say the least. Pretty much everyone from every shift is in the cargo bay, currently seeing to everybody here. So Alpha, Beta, everybody, all hands are down there right now, doing what they can. While all of this has been going on, y'all have been trying to find the location of the escape pods, and you've been getting a snapshot of what took place here. There's the mystery of the Romulan mines and how it is they got here. There's also the anomalies you all detected. When you first arrived in the Tanyoto system, it was believed that there were spatial and it was believed that there were spatial anomalies that had started to warp the gravitational constant around this entire asteroid belt. Upon getting closer to examination, what you discovered is it was an unusual variant of magnesite that was causing shadows and distortions for sensors. That's made this entire operation very tricky, to say the least. And it continues from there, because as of right now, the USS Pride is currently in orbit above the northern hemisphere of Tanyoto 4b. Now, Tanyoto 4b is a moon that orbits the largest gas giant of the system. And I'm doing my best to keep a straight face here, but Sam's got the expression on their face like they're up to something and that like they're typing something right now. And should I be looking at chat, Sam? Are you up to something? Are you plotting something over there?
No, I'm just taking notes.
Oh, okay. This is the problem with knowing someone so well after 7 years. So you guys are currently in orbit above Tanyoto 4b. There's been a successful rescue of the crashed down escape pods. However, there is one remaining escape pod. You have found it in a canyon about a few kilometers, about 12 kilometers or so from the original crash down site. One of the things that you've discovered here is even planetside, the distortions and manipulations to a lot of the sensor data that's coming back to your ship and from both on the Peregrine fighter and above is still constant. The concentration of this rare magnesite is causing all sorts of misinformation to come through the data packets. So your sensors are reading things like, oh, it's only 4 kilometers away when it's 12 kilometers away. And then when you arrive, the nav point will suddenly move and the sensors will detect it 3 miles behind you. So it's been a challenge, but I'm pleased to report that as of right now, you've all managed to put in place all of the pattern buffers to get the people off the planet side. Beaming has taken place. So all of the people in the rescue pods have been effectively beamed up to the USS Pride now, and has just added to the weight of the medical staff who are trying to treat everybody. The real problem is the last escape pod that's in the canyon. Now, these escape pods supposedly hold up to 20 people. And upon doing a quick flyby, Lieutenant Commander Cadence, Griffin 1, flew by at a mid-altitude bank to try to get eyes on the target to find out what the situation is with the survivors. And Cadence, you spotted 2 survivors. Only 2. One of them looked like they were in pretty rough shape and may not be conscious. They're laying up against the crash site itself, kind of slumped over. And the other one was waving what looked like a large stick of some kind violently in front of them, back and forth, panicked almost. They are confronted by these 2 large insectoid looking like creatures, bulky upper bodies, like they're bipedal beetles with these huge shells that are also covered in this plated articulated armor that kind of looks like it's geared specifically to enhance the outer layer of their shell. It looks like a pretty dangerous standoff. The other thing worth noting is both of the people down below are Orions, which was made note. And that is where we are picking up where we left off. Now, remember, one of the big things, the directives here is, of course, the Prime Directive. On this planet, what you have all been able to observe is there appears to be 3 armies currently clashing right now, not too far from here. So you have windows of opportunity to get in and get out as quickly as possible, but this is complicating things. Now, to expedite this entire scene, we're going to say, Cadence, that you've relayed, if I remember correctly, you've relayed this information back to the Pride to let them know what the situation is that you've seen down below. And we are going to start cold just like that. The information has just gotten back to the bridge that the 3rd escape pod has been found. 2 survivors have been eyeballed, and they apparently are confronting some of the indigenous sentient life that you were all supposed to avoid at all costs.
I think receiving this information, Jiren is going to open a line to engineering and tactical and science as well. Give them an update on the situation. And I need ideas. I need them quickly. We need to get this escape pod off planet, and we need to do so without breaking the Prime Directive. Get creative, get smart, and get thinking quickly.
Okay. What's up?
Quick question.
Yes.
Accidentally remuted myself. So the other 2 ships, the fighter squadron got them off planet. Is the away team back on the Pride now?
Not yet. No. You
Not
guys
yet.
have
Okay, I just want to know where we. Okay.
Yeah, you're still planet side. You've just finished transporting the last of the survivors from the original crash site
cool.
out from the So right now, everyone's breaking down the transporter buffers.
Okay. Cool.
So right now, as a quick refresher too, we have Ensign Baya. We also have Lieutenant Commander Pavin, Chief Engineer, Acting Chief Engineer, and Hata is here as well. So the Commander and XO is all planet side, along with a few of the members of the Aux crew.
And Shirella, our security officer.
Oh, that's true. Bonnie's character is here.
Bonnie's here, yeah. I helped her modify her tricorder. That was the last scene that I remember being on. So
yes, because Bonnie, as a quick refresher,
we have people down here too. Yeah,
Bonnie's detected that there are people moving around out there, and that your position here is going to start becoming precarious if you linger too much longer.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to figure out where.
Yep, that's the situation.
Actually, can I attempt a insight command roll to see if I recall anything in history about a situation like this and how it would be best resolved?
Sure.
Okay.
Because you guys are currently at, what's your momentum?
2.
So yeah, I've deliberately decided not to, quick reminder, because it's easy to forget this. Typically we lose 1 momentum every time a scene changes. It's tricky when you have technically it's the same scene, but multiple locations happening at the same time. So I haven't really been that stringent about it because it's not really all that important. But in this case, I'm relaying this. So if there's any question as to why the momentum hasn't gone down, I think that's a solid reason as to why. So we're still kind of in the same scene. With that, then what I would say, if you want to make a roll, I would set the difficulty of this at I'll let you, if you want, Noir, I'll let Jaren use the Pride for an assist, because you can recall this to the best of your information if you would like, but you also have computers. And I would say this might be a computer's command check from the Pride.
Who would like to be our lovely, lovely grandpa ship?
She's my grandpa and I love her. I will roll.
Okay, difficulty is 2.
Okie dokie. I would like to use a focus. Let me see if I have something here.
What's Grandpa Pride rolling? What stats?
Pride's rolling computers plus command.
I think Starfleet Protocol would be the focus for this.
Okay.
So here we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. So that's a 2 and a 6.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be 1, 2, and 3 for me.
Yeah. No help from the Pride. Sorry.
It's okay. She's old. She's tired.
She just got blown up a little.
Yeah,
so
she was on fire,
3 successes will be 1 momentum. So, okay. There are numerous instances where starships have come into face-to-face in sort of these difficult situations where they were not to break the Prime Directive. And there is a few instances that you're calling up on the database here. And just to be clear, Jaren, you're typing this into the command chair as you're sitting there on the bridge, looking down, just tapping into the console that's on your armchair, and you see the data coming up immediately, showing you star dates and different instances where this has happened. Some of the captains on there have been pretty blunt about dealing with this kind of thing. Some of them have tried to be clever. One of them, as sort of a blunt instrument approached, used a stun setting on a phaser to knock the people in question out and had the memories wiped so that nobody would have known that they were there. This is actually a more common occurrence that Starfleet has used on a few different occasions in order to protect the Prime Directive and to protect the people from having absolute panic and all sorts of other issues for the rest of their lives. Seeing space people. Pretty much getting creative on how it is you can get around this. But Starfleet seems to have a pretty clear track record of keeping the Prime Directive intact, even if it has to take some pretty out there measures, just so long as no one gets hurt. That there's no contamination to the colony, to the civilization, to the people. And that whatever happens, if you have to stun someone or do anything of that kind of nature, so long as it's something that can be repaired, taken care of, and it's going to have any kind of lasting effect.
Oh, 18. In accordance to Starfleet Protocol, you're granted permission to use stun as long as you remain unseen. Try to do as little harm as necessary, but we need to make sure that we aren't made.
Yes, Captain. We will keep that in mind.
All right. If there's anything you... Oh, go ahead.
Your chief of security just says, "Aye, Captain."
If there's anything that you need from the Pride while you're down there, let us know. But try and get out safe, sound, and as soon as possible. Cheering out.
Lieutenant Zarya turns to you, Commander. Well, I suggest we hop back into the shuttle and get over to the crash site that Caden spotted. And, well, I guess depending on what we find when we get there. But if I've got to knock people out to save lives, let's do it.
All right. Let's all go. And she starts heading towards the shuttle.
All right, everyone, pack it up. We're headed in. And with that, Lieutenant Zarya starts moving back into the shuttle, making sure that she is the last one to board as she watches everybody start piling back into the shuttlecraft. Taking your seats into the shuttlecraft.
Everyone in the shuttle would notice that Hatabin seems really deep in thought, like especially focused, like crunching on a problem in her brain.
Okay.
And she's just kind of sitting there with her lips pursed as the shuttle takes off.
Okay. All right.
Are we able to get there unseen? Like we had that cloud, we had the cloud cover. Is that going to help us here?
The cloud cover is starting to dissipate, and you don't have to worry too much about where you're going. The cloud cover was mostly to cover where you are.
Okay.
So right now, the threats of being seen by the greater population has completely subsided where you are now. Well, where you're going. Where you are now, had you lingered, your window is closing, your window of time. But yeah.
What kind of sensors does this shuttle have?
So you, if I remember correct, you are in a Type 8 shuttlecraft. So let me just pull up that data real quick. Small craft. Okay, you are in a shuttlecraft. We'll just use the Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition shuttlecraft stats here. So for science checks here, so your systems for scanning are going to be sensors and science. So that's going to be a total of 5.
Okay, sensors and science.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hata is going to move to do a scan. I guess once we take off, once we're in like whatever range these sensors are, she'd like to scan the people that we're gonna go maybe knock out.
Okay.
Can I assist?
Yeah.
Because I found a way to be able to see them better on a tricorder earlier. Can I re-implement that into the shuttle sensors?
If you tell you what,
I have a jury rigging specialty.
I tell you what, I will let you. I will let you do that. But what you're describing is making it a trait.
Oh, okay.
You're basically making it a thing that is now true in the scene, so you can get around something. So I would say spend the 2 momentum to make that a trait for the scene. And now I would say, moving forward, you no longer have any.
Can I spend an ox point so we can thank an ox crew?
Yes, you could spend an ox point.
I want to do that. I want to spend an ox point.
Yes. All right. In that case, this ox point comes to you from, drum roll, this is from Kerrigan29.
Thank you. Thanks for doing engineering with me.
So yes, so you can go ahead and get that trait is now attached to the scene. So that is going to get you around having to roll against a higher difficulty for the sensors. Basically, you're not going to have the penalty of the increased difficulty. So now it's just a difficulty of 2.
Yes. All right, awesome.
Instead of a difficulty of 3 and 4, like you guys have been dealing with this entire mission. So
we get into the shuttlecraft, and Baya uses like hard connects Shirila's tricorder into the shuttle itself, and like kind of like passes the the like logistics setups that she had done before into the shuttlecraft.
So Baya, you still get to assist here because you spent that to create a trait.
Okay.
So you still get to roll the die to add to successes here. And if anybody wants to add for the shuttlecraft, you just need, looks like a 5 or better, or 5 or lower for the shuttlecraft sensors and science.
All right. And what should I be rolling? Let's see.
It's sensors and for your department?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's the old Talon roll.
Reason science.
Yep.
Okay.
On an
it's
assist.
almost as good as Talon's, but not. Oh, it was. I rolled. No, I forgot which direction we were going in.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh wait, and we're not adding them together. Wow.
Yeah.
My brain just like
playing different RPGs across the spectrum.
I haven't played D&D this week. Like, what? Okay, so I got 2 successes.
2 successes, nice. Which means whatever Caitlin is going to roll for Baya is going to count.
All right.
What stats should I roll this assist on? Should I just pitch you something, or do you have something in mind?
Something. What would? So you did say that you were using your ability to reprogram that tricorder.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say engineering for sure. So maybe a reason.
I would suggest a control engineering check because control is kind of like you're fine tuning something or using precision. Yeah.
Okay, control engineering. We'll do that. Let's see if I can get it.
So you've already got 1 momentum.
Oh, yes, exactly. I got 1
2
extra for
momentum.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are able to detect the life forms. They are indeed about 8 kilometers just northeast of you. You're also able to detect that there is a peregrine fighter that is currently circling a couple of kilometers overhead and is dipping kind of low. So, yeah, that's what the sensors are detecting. You have 2 floating momentum that you can bank if you choose.
I'd like to use. Oh wait. I'd like to use a momentum for more information from that scan.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for if there's any imaging that we can get on like their which way they're facing, and is anyone higher than the other, things like that. Their physical orientation.
Basically, you want to actually do the very first real life scan on these creatures.
Yeah.
Because y'all
Yeah.
have detected what they're like, but you have not actually been able to run any kind of biological scan on them because of all of the interference around here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well then, yes.
All right. So then, yes, if you would like to get some life form information about them. So Starfleet does have them classified and is simply calling them the Tonyodo. Now, Starfleet records are still showing that this culture is Bronze Age technology. You have seen a lot of evidence that that is not true. The data that's coming back to you shows a remarkable biology. They seem to be highly evolved creatures that are. The first thing you would probably notice is just that the first thing you would notice is that they're heavily armored. It looks like the shells are like really thick and heavily armored. But you also notice that the armor that they're wearing, the plates that they have that is kind of drilled in or situated onto their shells, does look like plates of magnesite, which is making it very difficult for standard sensor scans to detect them. Thanks to Baya, you guys have a way around it to sort of find the chink in the armor, as it were. You're able to pick up a lot of the biofeedback that's coming through. It looks like they have very similar physiology to beetles in that they have what you're detecting seems to be, they have 6 legs. 2 of them, there are 4 legs total that they're using to stand on. They stand close to about 7.5 to 8 feet. Judging from the density of the musculature, they're probably very strong. And it looks like they have some kind of biofluid within them that possibly could be weaponized or used, perhaps spitting. It looks like a toxin. And if you had to guess, this toxin is probably capable of doing some physical damage. It looks like it might be corrosive. Not sure how it's going to react to skin. Doesn't look like it has the ability to be acidic, but you get the impression that it could be something more akin to a highly concentrated version of what a skunk might use. But it has enough property that the fluid itself probably could cause damage of some kind. It doesn't look like you'd want to touch it, as you see all the biochemical readings coming back through the readouts. In other words, whatever it is probably stinks to high hell, and it probably burns a little bit. You don't want to get hit with it.
Okay. So are we getting close enough to them to get them on, like, get visuals on them? I mean, I can ask that in. Oh wait, I'm driving this thing.
Yeah. You are totally washed right now. Oh my God, who's flying this thing? Wait, I am.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask the pilot.
That's you.
Does me.
Yep.
Okay, when we get close enough to bring them up on imaging, I want to do that and then kind of hover so that we don't get too close to them and we can kind of make a plan before they see us.
Okay. You can get some of the feedback that Griffin 1 sent back. So if you want to get at least a visual, you can see some of the visual scans that were made.
Yes. Awesome.
In which case, they do indeed look like very large beetle creatures that are plated with armor. They do have weapons of some kind. They look like they're made out of pure obsidian. The way they kind of gleam in the light, they almost look like spears. It's not clear what it is it's made out of, but your guess, considering that it looks similar to the armor that they're wearing, is probably some kind of version of magnesite that they are also wielding.
And so from this imagery, seeing the orientation of Cadence's shuttle and from the direction we're approaching, can we tell who's facing which direction?
Oh, yeah. So yes, let me give you the full rundown. Is the two Tanyotos are currently facing down the Orion, who is violently waving this rod or stick in front of him to try to keep them away. That is all that can really be seen from high above, that bird's eye view.
Can we tell if we're approaching them from the side of their facing each other or from behind one or the other?
Well, yes, you could have it. I mean, definitely, because Cadence has a complete topographic POV of everything that is happening right now. You can choose which angle you approach from. If you want to approach them from behind, that's an easy course correction to make.
Great. Okay. Well, Orions know we exist. Actually, Hata says this outside. Orions know we exist. So perhaps we should approach from an angle that the Orions can see us, but the Tonyoto cannot. And then we can stun the Tonyoto from behind. Although their armor is quite strong, so we will have to find a way to not only get through their armor, but make sure that our stun setting is strong enough to get through their armor to stun them, because I think their constitution is much stronger than any of ours. Any suggestions? Looks around.
I think I would immediately look to the security officer on the ship.
Yeah.
Zarya is looking at the engineers and scientists, and when notices that everyone's looking at the security officer, she turns back and looks at you, Commander, and says, I think maybe you set me down about 200 feet away from the scene, and I just stunned them, Commander.
Will you do it long range or short range?
Well, I think I need to see a layout of the position that they're in, but I could do it long range. Pretty sure I could do it long range.
All right. Are you not concerned with their biology perhaps being stronger than our stun setting?
I'll set for maximum, just to be sure.
I think I will come with you.
She nods.
Okay, and I'll get the shuttle in closer. I still don't want to be too close that they hear us. And even, I think if we stay low enough, they might not see us, it seems like. So I want to stay far enough that they don't hear or see us.
Yeah, you can set the shuttlecraft down in the canyon far enough away where it's not going to be spotted.
Okay, cool.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Who else? Would you like to come as well, Baya?
I can. I'm not very I'm not tactical trained though, so I don't know if that would be a detriment to this particular mission.
We might need to fine tune our weapons to make sure they are stunned. So I would like you to come in case we need to do that.
Yes, Commander. Okay. And she like digs for her kit and like slings it over. And should I bring the transport enhancers, or should we come back for those, or?
Yes.
Can I carry those by myself, or do I need like a team to do that?
Ask, are they bulky? They're in cases, right?
They are in cases. There's enough of them where one other person would have to carry the others. It's not that they're heavy. It's just they're very delicate equipment, and
we don't need them on this first foray. If we need to, we can come back for them.
Okay.
The rest of you, you come, and she'll just point to one more person to come with us. Our red shirt. And the rest of you can stay here and watch the shuttle and guard against anything else happening.
Is this Noir wanting to play the red shirt?
Oh no, this is. I was gonna ask if I could rally real quick.
Sure. Yeah, how would you like to do that?
I'd like to talk to the away team.
Okay.
We have a solution, but I have to be honest with you. I don't like it. I think that Starfleet is more than just resorting to violence. I think that the moment that we think phasers first is the moment that we have failed. I think that we have brilliant minds on this ship, and we don't know the physiology of these creatures, and we have come into their home. If I just need 5 minutes away, team, 5 minutes, and then we go. 5 minutes, and then we go as planned. But we are better than this. Starfleet is better than this. Science, I need to know everything about this planet. I need to know what is under the crust. I need to know what this planet is made out of. In the history of Starfleet, there are a few ways that we can do this. We can stun, or we can mimic a natural phenomenon. Cadence, you had an idea with storm seeding. You were able to adjust the photons on your ship. Is that something that the Pride can emulate as well?
I'm the wrong person to ask about the capabilities of your ship. I don't know those kind of birds. I don't even know what kind of.
He's just gonna look over to engineering and science like, you got anything for me?
As you glance over, you see Lieutenant Avrali just glance back and go, did you have something, Sam?
Oh, it seemed like a good time.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you want to take over Avrali, do you want to take over Avrali now?
I mean, since it sounds like Cadence is in a holding pattern for the foreseeable, and since apparently science is being stubborn, I'm here to outstubborn the science.
Okay. So Sam is for the everybody watching Ox Crew. Sam is currently going to do this is implementing the support character system. So this is allowing this is one of the things that allow players in Star Trek Adventures both first and second edition to take over a support character or a smaller character role played somewhere else on the ship to supplement what the crew is doing. So Vrali, it's scene is yours. You've been given this question by the captain.
If you want to seed clouds, there are a bunch of ways to seed clouds. How concerned are you with chemical contaminants? I think silver nitrate works pretty well, but I don't know that we want to leave that behind.
Not so much interested in cloud seeding. I'm interested in adjusting our photon. Can we lower the power? Can we decrease the power in them? I was thinking, we were thinking violence back in the 21st century. Common tactics among soldiers is to disorient their foes. I would much rather disorient than stun. And photons, if I recall my academics correctly, are just light. If we can find some material, some mineral that refracts light, we can disorient by having them pay attention to something else while we get the escape pod. Something like, can you scan the planet and see if there is a thick reservoir or a thick patch of diamonds or something that we could use to refract light into the sky? If we can emulate a star or a natural phenomenon in the sky, then perhaps that'll be enough of a distraction for our away team to do what's necessary to get this escape pod off the planet without hurting anyone.
Well, it's funny you should mention something like that, because I've been studying magnesite as a mineral, and it's surprisingly refractive in its own light. It's not diamonds. Those only come up to the surface with volcanism, although based on the obsidian weaponry, it's very possible that there is such a thing on this planet, but probably not in very, very large amounts, and usually a little below the planetary crust. Is looking at something sparkly ethically distinct here?
That's the plan. I have to be honest, science wasn't my strong suit. Well, it was tactics. Can you make this happen for me? Engineering, can you lower the threshold of our photons so that it can be relatively harmless to the material so we don't risk any shrapnel or any damage to the planet?
So your chief engineer, who's on the shuttlecraft with Hata right now, taps communicator and says, "It's possible. It's always possible. Could certainly change some of the power levels on our." Just to be clear, Captain, are you asking if we can fire phasers into the upper atmosphere?
Yeah, I like cats. Cats are easily distracted by lasers, and anything good enough for a cat is good enough for people. Can you make that happen?
That would be easy enough to do. We can certainly lower the power settings on phaser banks to cause it to be. I mean, yes, absolutely. Especially because phaser banks fire in bursts and not a continuous stream like arrays. Yes.
All right.
I think I can do that.
We've got 5 minutes to make it happen, or else we'll be forced to do something that, honestly, I wouldn't want to be my first action in the captain's seat. So let's show them what the pride's made out of. Show some mercy today, huh?
Okay, then I got to then now I have to figure out my very first engineering problem for this problem. Turns, swivels in the chair and faces you, Commander, who is sitting to his left at the front of the shuttle pod, and says, "Commander, I think I need to get back on board the Pride as soon as possible."
Can we reset up the transport enhancers and get you back up immediately?
Well, we could, but then that would require us touching down, then setting up the transporter enhancers, then beaming me back up immediately. Or we can swing a hard U-turn and fly back up into the upper atmosphere, where the magnesite is not going to interfere with transport. Yes, Captain.
A quick note. This is aboard the above the table. How many people can Cadence's fighter fit?
Yeah. Yes.
It can fit one whole cadence.
Okay, never mind.
We have 1 to 2. We've had 1 to 2 on the Federation
It's,
attack
there,
fighter, and
it
it
does
is
have
a
space for a
standard.
co-pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can fit an human onto those, or,
Yes,
or other humanoid form.
Yeah, basically, if you're asking if Cadence can be an Uber driver right now, yes. The answer is you could do a site to site if you wanted to do that.
All right.
Or if Raleigh can work at Captain, I can work up the specifications from here. It might work better just to use a smaller local area, less big ship phaser, more small area, small distraction. There aren't too many beings here, right?
I'd have to agree, Captain. I mean, if anything I'm going to do is going to be a big flashbang, anything that the lieutenant's going to do is going to be a little more refined, a little bit more like a scalpel.
Look at you guys making me look better already. Make it happen. And I would like to roll for Rally.
That whole scene was Rally. That whole just like discovery level babble of everyone throwing in their suggestions of what they can do.
No,
Well,
but
you rallied
seriously, look up
everyone.
magnesite crystals. They are quite refractive.
Listen, if I could put a plug in our show for Sam, I don't mind. That'll be 2 momentum on the Rally. Sorry, I couldn't do better,
Ooh.
guys.
No, well, that maxes us out, so you did great. That's all we needed. You're maxed on momentum.
I did spend 1 for more information, so
Yep, I took that into account.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I got
Gotta love a note taker.
I have a whole setup in my Google spreadsheet for it. Don't even worry, I got it.
Nerd. All
Just
right.
wait till I make the Pride spreadsheet. Oh God, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
All right.
Magnesite is so pretty, by the way. I just Googled it. It's so pretty.
See?
Okay.
Very sparkly. And
So-
all over.
Mhm.
And they have
Hi.
an armor even.
All right. Raleigh, as you begin to go to work, while the shuttlecraft is still heading towards the site, you guys have decided to go straight to the site, settle down just outside, and wait. You're giving the captain 5 minutes to try to pull this off.
Mhm.
The clock is ticking. There's a young Orion boy who might be being attacked right now. It's hard to say. It's kind of difficult to know what's happening over at the site at the moment. But as the shuttlecraft settles down, I'm spinning 2 threats. And of Raleigh, as you begin to work on your calculations, you begin to notice that the weather manipulation of the storms created earlier using photonic energy to create those big cloud covers have actually started to react with some of the anomalies that were already available in the upper atmosphere, and the ionization effect has begun to spread. In a sense, a lightning storm has begun to form around the battlefield area where you guys were originally rescuing the previous shuttlecraft that had crashed down, the lifeboats. Essentially, you're starting to see that the manipulation of the weather patterns of this planet is delicate and has started to, looks like it's triggered what is probably going to be a moderate cell.
There was already a thunderstorm in the area.
Mhm.
It looked very pretty. Okay. Is there a mechanical note I should be making of that? Are you
Yes.
using the trait as threat to establish a trait, for instance?
I'm establishing the trait Storm 2. Or I'm sorry, Storm 1, because I only spent 2 threat.
Okay.
So there's a storm approaching on scene. Now, I will go ahead and give you this. Because of the wind pattern, because you've got a great point of view where you are sitting in the USS Pride on your sensors, you can tell that there is a not small probability that these two cells might actually join. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be happening immediately, but could lead to a wider, more powerful storm.
Is what I'm seeing reflecting a trajectory toward the canyon group, or exclusively at the point of origin for the cloud seeding sort of area? Where is it go? Where do I need to be worrying about, Eric?
What it looks like is happening, since it's the early stages, and because you're still becoming quite familiar with the weather patterns of this planet, what you were seeing is the pressure is taking this storm that's beginning to brew here, and it looks like it's moving the previously one as described closer and closer towards the battlefields. If they merge, it's going to create a secondary storm trait, which is going to make it Storm 2. The takeaway from this is that at the moment, at least for this scene, it doesn't seem like there's any immediate danger for you guys. But what might be happening is that there might be side effects to this atmospheric manipulation. It might be causing a larger storm system to brew here near this battlefield that's happening. It could cause interference. It could cause danger for the shuttlecraft. It almost certainly will affect whatever is going on for the people of the planet.
Okay. All right. Well, with any luck, before the storm really gets going, we'll have figured everything out. Everything. I mean everything. Okay, not everything. There's always more stuff to figure out. But first things first. I bet the ambient humidity from the cloud seeding will also affect the refraction. Maybe there's a cool optical trick to be done, kind of like Mirage, but with humidity. I'm going to start working on the phaser interaction with the surface, both in a refractive sense off of the very sparkly magnesite, and in a thermal sense. I was just looking up how mirages worked last week because I realized I didn't remember, and it's because it's one of those rare circumstances where because the ground is hot, like the lower heat is the air is actually hotter than the upper air, and so you get weird refraction stuff. And our phasers are, by transferring energy, going to be inducing thermal heat. So we have two different ways that we're going to do the thing. So what I would like to roll reason science about this. I don't think I have any particular skills in this field, but I'm on duty and the captain asked.
Okay, 1 second.
While we're taking a quick break, YouTube has called the Pride Grandpa Big Bird, and we can't let this become a thing. Y'all gotta stop it over there. I'm watching you. I got Twitch right here, and I got YouTube right there. Knock it off.
I'm so proud of you.
She's my grandpa and I love her.
How long have we been saying that?
Literally
With
for
the
months.
Exactly.
Who was it? Hadrian LeGamer? No, it was Mark Phillip. Mark Phillip, don't do that.
I'm sure there are no contrarians among the Ox
No,
crew,
of
and
course
this
not.
will work out exactly as intended.
No, the Ox Crew has already started on Twitch. YouTube has now affected Twitch.
One moment here.
One moment, please.
So,
The Enterprise Voyager, Grandpa Big Bird. Somebody at Starfleet got drunk one night.
Now, that's the lovely thing. It had to have been many somebodies. I like to think it was all at once. Just an absolute upper brass rager.
Isn't Picard an admiral right now? He got turned off with some real hot Earl Grey.
You ever wake up the next day and you've accidentally named a ship Grandpa Big Bird?
It happens to the best of us, really.
I know, right? You know, these things happen.
all
I
right.
love my grandpa.
Guess
He's beautiful.
what? Sam
Chicken
Delev.
butt.
It is perhaps because of your incessant, violent punning that you have finally found yourself on the receiving end of karma. As I am now, for the first time in this campaign, calling for an extended task. Dun,
I only
dun,
did
dun.
Don't celebrate. Don't celebrate, Mar.
Are
So-
we gonna die?
The reason why is because you're currently basically trying to you're changing the power feed to you're changing the power to feed to the phasers, but more importantly, you've been given a variable time limit by the captain of 5 minutes
Mhm.
to do this task. So the extended task is going to, you do have a time pressure variable on this. So each interval,
Mhm.
you have a task. Okay, so you have task of 5 intervals right now, and each interval is going to be 1 minute.
Okay.
So we are going to.
I already rolled, so like you're setting things for how bad it will have been retroactively. Because honor dictates I have to use the roll that I intended to have rolled.
That's fair. And tell you what, I'll give you momentum for that. Difficulty is going to be 2.
Mhm.
But there is no resistance rating to this.
Okay.
The
Can
project
Grandpa
progress-
Big Bird assist me?
Yes, Big Bird can assist you, but you're going to have to ask the Pride. You're going to have to, whoever's going to do this is going to have to pitch the system that you're using. I'm guessing because you are using the ship's weapon systems, that is going to be coming into play for the Pride here. So I would say weapons and actually weapons and science makes a lot of sense here.
If Raleigh is designing this for use with handheld phasers in the local area, the Pride, we moved off of the Pride using the entire whole ship phasers. The chief even said it was a good idea. I didn't mean to say it twice. I was being homophonic.
You could do weapons security, or I'm sorry, weapons engineering.
I'm not
Not
using
you,
the
the
weapons.
Pride. The Pride.
Yeah, Pride's not using the weapons.
Homophonic.
Raleigh is doing it for handheld weapons, not Pride weapons.
Oh wait, you're not actually using phasers though, right? You've
No,
decided
exactly. That because that would
Correct.
require extensive engineering, reconfiguration, and cadence acting like a lift.
Gotcha.
What I am doing is coming up with the design and overall specifications to send down and send the specs to Baya and Pavan, who will implement them on their own handheld phasers, and probably Lieutenant Shirila's to do the thing. So my first contribution to this apparently collective extended task, you did this to yourself as well, is to develop the design of what the frequencies and intensity required to create the refractive effect and,
Light show.
thermal refraction.
Okay, yes, the Pride can totally assist with this. It would
So it'd be computer sciences, but I'm helping with
Be
the
computer
simulations
science.
was what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be computer science. All right. So your first roll, how many successes did you
Who rolls
get?
Pride?
Who would
Please
like to roll the Pride?
I need to know that really
I
bad.
can.
I mean, what?
What am I rolling for Pride?
Computer science.
Computer
Keys.
science. Computer science. Okay, here we go. Oh, no.
In that case, not
Can-
only
Can I
Is it an-
aid?
Hold on, let me find out what the result was. What
Sorry.
was it? That's okay.
not only is it a failed roll, but
Okay.
it also has a 20 complication.
Okay.
I told you honor demanded I keep the roll, Eric.
Excellent. And
So
it's-
it was 1 success, which is insufficient to meet. So yeah, no, have fun. Disaster. Enjoy.
Can I aid though?
Possibly. How would you aid? And what is that a trait you're using?
Yes. If I aid, then 1, I get to roll as well, and 2, Sam would then be able to re-roll a d20 because I'm aiding.
May I
I
pitch
would-
a mode of assistance, Captain?
Oh, I've already got. I'm already pulling up information on this on the commander chair, which I got to sit with. It was real cool. And so I would just be pulling up any history of photons being our weaponry being manipulated before, because I do know that this is something that happened in Star Trek before. I just can't recall exactly when, but he would know.
Okay.
He's a researcher.
Okay, yes. I mean, there's so many instances where people have modified their phasers to have a different kind of effect on minerals that they're trying to stage a reaction to.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your aid do? So list out what that's going to do for.
So essentially, instead of Virali starting from 0, he's going, wait, no, we've already done something like this in the past. Start with what we've already done, and then modify from there. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Okay. So what mechanically is that going to do for Avrali?
So essentially, I'm imagining Virali is making the mistake because it's like trying to figure out a math equation from scratch when somebody has already broken down the formula for you.
Yeah.
Templating would be extremely helpful here. Yes, if there are existing examples that allow me to work more efficiently and potentially with better accuracy.
I think Eric's asking game mechanic, right? You're asking
game
what-
mechanic?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I roll a d20 and then Sam re-rolls the 20. We get rid of the complication.
So you roll it. So you roll a d20 and then Sam removes a d20?
Yes,
Sam gets to re-roll.
Oh, okay.
It's part of talent for
for
if
commanders.
Captain assists,
Gotcha.
and
So you-
also
So Sam both gets a re-roll and you get to add a d20 to the roll.
correct.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay, go for it.
So that is a 6 on me. So that's 1 success.
All right, that would get us over the line into a successful roll. Now die. Mark did a very nice thing for us. And I don't want to be ungracious,
How many successes total?
but it would be funny.
Sam.
That'll be a total of 2. It
Okay.
removed the complication, but didn't add a success. I'll take it.
All
All right.
right. Now, while that is happening, the shuttle touches down. Okay. Go ahead and make me another roll, Sam.
Of any particular varietal, sir?
Nope, it's the exact same die pool.
Okay.
Exact same roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Another assist from Grandpa.
Oh, now they've gone to call it get Tweety Gramps.
It needs to be a drink.
I swear, YouTube is the worst. I love this.
You're muted, Caitlin.
Harder muted looks like.
Sorry, my bad.
Mhm.
Does the Pride have focuses, or am I thinking of?
It always counts as focus if roll under number.
Correct. Anything you roll for the Pride is always counted as a focus. You're muted again.
Sorry, I forgot I had it on push to mute. I rolled a 5.
Okay, then that's 2 successes total. No complications.
Okay.
You're going for those complications. I can feel it.
I think 1s and 20s in all systems are equally funny.
Impact. 1 second here.
I gotta wait. I gotta go get my rainbow die for the Pride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we
That's so
only roll
important.
pride with
You-
rainbow.
God,
Yes.
one sec.
Go.
I've been-
Get
this is-
gone.
Ugh.
Preparation.
Okay. I am going to spend 2 threat.
2. I'm an adult.
YouTube is wilding right now. You got to step it up, Twitch. YouTube is bumping. I think people.
We should decide, like, is YouTube lower decks and Twitch?
They have to figure that out among themselves.
That's true. They're gonna have to figure that out.
In gladiatorial combat, ideally.
All right. All right. I spent 2 threat. Sam, go ahead and make me one more roll.
What's crit fishing, but like with GMing? And for like something really bad. Asking for a friend.
I call that, you can't see what I'm doing behind the GM screen.
That is so true.
Roll pride.
Roll pride.
Roll for pride. That's got to be a t-shirt.
It's a 4 from that's a 4 from the pride.
4 from the
That
pride?
is 3 successes. If Raleigh rolled well on 2 dice.
Oh, shoot.
That's
That'll
character
actually,
growth.
okay. All right. In which case, crunching the data, taking the blueprints, running the numbers of exactly what kind of energy feedback you need to feed into the phaser. And it also has to be practical. The phaser has to be able to modify this really quickly. It only takes you about 3 minutes of punching this on the computer before you send the schematics and the details back down to the away team, just as they've touched down on the surface of the planet for the second time. You see through the tricorder, the information starts coming through, and you see the modifications are actually quite simple and takes very little effort on your part to just modify the phaser output energy levels. And it's somewhere between diagnostic mode and level 1 set to stun. So like lowest level stun diagnostic test kind of produces a steady beam that can actually refract light off of magnesite.
Okay. That's easy.
And
We
create
can do that.
some lighting effects, yeah.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
see,
Yes.
you see, as this is happening, you see Pavin just nods and says, yeah, that's it. Commander, I think we're good to go here.
All right. Do we implement this from the shuttle or with our handheld phasers on the ground?
Probably don't want to shoot them with the shuttle.
No. This is for the distraction from the handheld phasers. So we can do it from the ground.
So Lieutenant Zarya
Lieutenant-
at that point leans in and interrupts you by it and says, wait, so I'm not shooting them anymore. I'm shooting, what am I shooting?
What is she?
I comms. Lieutenant Everali, would you like to give some instruction to the ones who actually are good at wielding our tactical gear, please?
I would love to give instructions. I think you should shoot at the ground. The specifications I had give a timed duration pulse. Beyond the settings, just point at the ground. In someone's eye line. I don't know how you figure that out, but I think the visual distraction only works if, they see it. And other than that, if it's sparkly and we've made some correct assumptions about both this species and their behavior, and since they wear magnesite in their armor, it's already refractive. They might look at it like maybe there's some other element of the army. This is going to work so great. You've got this. Yeah, line of sight. That's the big one.
All right. Well,
just look for magnesite where they can see it and fire.
okay. Same team. Let's go.
Let's go.
Should we maybe bring the enhancers this time?
Well, yes. Now it sounds like yes.
I can't carry them by myself, so
You
Pavin, I
also
have to
come.
with. Okay.
Yeah.
Pavin scoops up one of the other bags and throws it over his shoulder and says, all right,
Here we
let's
go.
do this."
We move.
You step back out into the landscape. Immediately, you're buffeted by hot winds. All this storm front that has been stirred up a few kilometers away has caused all this hot air to sort of blow around the canyon. And it's starting to whip up dust and sand and debris as you all step outside the shuttle. Hair whipping around as you make your way closer to the third crash site. You can hear from where you are loud clicking sounds that at first it sounds like maybe the could be that the wind is causing the escape pod to sort of creak and moan from the buffeting winds. But as you get closer, you begin to realize it's actually them speaking to one another. Very loud clicks. As you begin to emerge from the rock faces looking down, what you see is this battered and heavily damaged lifeboat that looks like it is wedged into some of these rocks. You can see some of the rocks have been completely powderized from the impact. This blackened scar where it impacted hard looks like the shuttle did not land light at all. Either it lost power or whoever was flying it didn't know what they were doing because it crashed viciously into the rock face. The next thing you notice right away is there's nobody else coming out of the shuttle. There's just the two people. The two people, which, by the way, one of them is still slumped against the shuttle and is unconscious. The other one that was waving the stick is now lying face down unconscious and has two of these Tonyotos that are standing over him. You see them kind of moving back and forth, their weapons in their hand. Just from where you are standing, you can see this dark green stain starting to slowly gather around the clothing of the Orion teenager who is now face down on the ground. As these two creatures are clicking at one another. Lieutenant Zarya does not waste any time at that point. And she's going to level her phaser and open fire on the appropriate settings, aiming specifically for their armor to see if she can't clip one of the great shells that are bulging off the back of one of these huge beetle-like creatures. It is a big enough target. Plus, it contrasts with the dark shell of the armor itself, making it pretty easy for a marksman to hit. I'm going to...
Was the question, was
Yeah.
the intention not to do this, was this not a distraction instead of hitting the organics?
It is not set to stun anymore. It is a light show now. And the idea was to shoot
Okay.
magnesite, and the only magnesite...
They're wearing magnesite.
They're wearing it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
Just
yeah,
wanted to clarify.
Zarya is literally just trying to use their armor to give them a light show. So it's going to be kind of like shooting a high intensity flashlight at a mirror. It's kind of the level of I would say the level of energy that's being shot at them would be the equivalent of like you realizing that one of your friends is being a jerk and is putting a magnifying glass against you on a hot day. So I'm going to make a roll real quick.
Can I assist?
On this one, I'm not sure that you can. How do you think Hata would assist with the shot?
Well, I actually also was going to shoot too.
Oh, okay.
Should
Yes,
I just...
you can. If you want to hit the other one,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the two of you. In that case, you wouldn't be an assist. It would be just
Yeah.
rolling separately.
Okay.
But yeah, you can absolutely do that. In which
All right.
case, you're both going to get the drop. So if you would like to go first, since you are the PC and you are in attendance, you can actually take the first action here, Elisa, and have Hata open fire on the first one's armor.
May I spend to get, please? Do y'all mind?
Get an extra D20.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We have hella momentum. I think we're full up.
Yeah. All right.
That sounds right.
Control security for shooting.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. Oh, what's my oh, okay. Didn't get the under the number almost, but I got one success. Yeah, one success.
Difficulty of any attack with ranged is 2.
Yeah. So I
The
missed.
good news is that just means that you've missed. No one's being harmed by this, and in fact, they're actually not really reacting to your missed shot. Like they didn't even see it.
Okay.
The noise that it makes is very reminiscent of the old retro style phaser sound effect of as it emanates outward from the phaser. At that point, they still do not know that they have been attacked. So their action is they are going to reach down and pick up the young Orion teenager. The other one moves over towards the one that's leaning up against the ship. And at that point, your chief of security is going to open fire. If you are all cool with it, I would like to spend a point of momentum for her as well.
Please do.
Rock and roll.
All right.
Or as Ensign Raccoon said, set phasers to disco.
Oh, that's 2. Okay, so extra d20, 2 crits.
Oh,
So that's
yes.
4 successes
My
with
God.
2 bankable momentum.
Jesus.
Actually,
Max back up.
hold on. She might spend this.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
okay, she's gonna spin this.
Both or just one?
She's gonna spin to both because she's gonna create
Cool.
a trait.
Beautiful.
She's gonna create alter trait. So Zarya opens fire. The beam of light impacts on the armor, and you all see the armor react almost like it's being superheated, but it's an illusion. It's not actually gaining in temperature at all. It's ambient glow that's beaming off of it, and it does exactly as Avrali predicted. And you see literally almost like a spiny, spiky, beautiful explosion of thorny looking rainbows just arc off the back of the shell as light refracting, crossing into each spectrum of light, basically gives this thing Pride armor. As you see these little spiky golden rainbow colored purples, all the different hues spike off the top of it. Of course, because I spent that 2 extra momentum and altered a trait, it actually causes the refracting light to react to all the magnesite in the area, catching the other one's armor as well, having a lessened effect, but the same thing happens. Both of the Tonyoto freeze at that moment. And the Tonyoto that had lifted the teenager reacts like the teenager's doing this and just drops him heavily back onto the ground, just screeching and clicking. The other one reacts quickly as well, and the both of them immediately skitter for their lives. It's a little scary seeing how fast those 4 legs carry them up over the rocks with very little slowing them down. They traverse difficult terrain just like you might expect any insect could, as it just goes up and over, and you can hear the heavy clamoring and clacking of their beetle-like armor messing with the armor that is now still glowing and chasing them, much like if you had convinced a cat that its tail was on fire kind of situation, as these 2 Tonyoto flee the area.
I would just like to mention that we solved breaking the Prime Directive on the Pride with a rainbow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shot a rainbow at it.
Solved as 2 terrified Tanyotans flee
Flee.
from the spiky rainbow thing that
They
I'm
just
sure
go, "Oh
all their
no, we're
buddies will
woke!"
believe.
And they just run screaming into the hills.
Flee the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. Hey, Skittles, holler at us.
Open for sponsorship.
Yeah. The Tonyoto flee. You see them rush up over the rocks and disappear into the rock faces. Their clicking sounds trailing off after them.
Well, I believe that was a success, Captain.
We got to end the day without hurting anybody.
Yes.
I call that a win. Let's get
I
our
do
people
too.
home. And Hata, Commander,
Yes, Captain.
good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. You too.
Zarya, while y'all are saying all of this, Zarya has rushed over to the fallen Orion boy.
Yeah,
And then-
Yeah, we
Maya
follow.
is like foot to foot waiting for an instruction because she can't go. She's not gonna rush in until she's told she can go set stuff up.
Yeah, let's go.
Baya, you see, turning to you, Pavin says, Baya, get inside the escape pod, see if there's anybody else in there.
Okay. And she'll set down her case and I'll scramble in.
At that point, Pavin calls out to the away team. We don't have a lot of time, folks, so let's just do this really fast and get these people back up to the chief medical facility as quickly as possible. And then taps on the communicator. Chief Medical Officer Selma Conway.
Conway.
You hear
Question, Eric.
Yes?
Briefly, if we're going to do support crew characters, Eliza is already Hata in this scene.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we
Yep.
got one person.
Mhm.
So okay.
So I'll just have to switch to Selma.
I'm saying no, we don't know.
Switch
Like
and stay.
the rules, you can't switch in a
Oh.
scene.
Yeah.
have to
Once you
declare at the
select
top.
a support character, you stick with
Oh.
a support character for the scene. So you actually
For the
cannot switch to your supporting character just now.
Got
So
it.
it makes it just we were doing it in a few episodes ago, and it was getting a little bit hard. Well, because a few people swapped in scene a couple of times, and it was getting a little confusing. So I would like to establish that we don't swap to support characters without a scene change.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm
This-
stuck here with these beautiful scientific results.
Yes.
to clarify and finish what I was saying, though, this is the introduction of the chief medical officer. So while I'm going to be playing her, I need
Okay.
Eliza to give me a character description. As up in the infirmary, back on the USS Pride, you would all see Commander Selma has rushed right back into her office to grab a couple of hyposprays to carry back down to the cargo bay where everyone is currently being filtered out. Thankfully, there are no grievous injuries that people require medical beds here yet. However, that changes as all of a sudden the away team voice, the voice of the away team chief engineer, Commander Pavin, comes through and says, Commander Conway, it looks like a critically injured Orion young male. Don't know what the status is of the older Orion, but we need to get them directly to sickbay. And with that, you all hear through the comms the voice of Commander Selma Conway say, "Understood. Give us a description, if you would, please, Eliza."
Yeah. So she is an early 30s Black woman. She's human, and she's very pretty. I'm looking at a picture and describing her. And she has like a shaggy bob that's kind of like almost like a late 50s through 60s style, where the bangs kind of sweep across her forehead, and then the bob itself ends with a little mullet style flip at the end, at the bottom of the bob. Think of I feel like some 60s TV ladies had this kind of hair.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's Dr. Selma. She has a nickname too that some of you would probably know. She goes by Lovely with 2 E's at the end. So,
All right. Okay, so I'm going to say to do a site to site, if I remember correctly, that is a difficulty 2 task. We'll check here. That's funny. Just gonna look this up real fast. Personal transporter, that's correct. Transporters. Page 18. Oh, no, that's just reminding us that we have transporters. Never mind. Here we go. Okay.
Hey, did you know we have transporters?
Did you
transporters.
know?
We have them. End of chapter.
Thank you for
That
joining us
reminds
for
me
our
so much of Talon's beauty product of I use this. Logical Beauty by Talon.
Okay, computers engineering. Yep. Okay, so this computers engineering check. Since this is actually being done by NPCs, no one here has to worry about this. Site-to-site transports. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, while site-to-site transport going from one location to another, but that is possible, increase the difficulties by 2. You are currently okay, so you're gonna have to okay, so first of all, you're gonna have to stabilize the teenager. He has been stabbed. The wound looks like it has gone clear through the upper part of his torso. You don't know enough medicine to know if that's hit anything vital, but you do know there's a lot of vital things in the upper part of a person's torso. Of course, Orion physiology isn't exactly the same either, so you need to get him up to the Pride as quickly as possible. He is considered having an injury right now. The way injuries work is you can stabilize somebody so that they can essentially continue to function in a scene. If you successfully hit somebody during combat, some environmental effects and so on and so forth, you will sustain an injury. A character hit by an attack is affected by a hazard. Okay, so injuries, basically, the way it works is you can sometimes shrug off an injury and take stress instead. In this case, wasn't able to avoid the injury, unfortunately. So the way this is going to work is first aid to help a defeated and injured ally. First aid is an action that allows you to attempt a daring plus medicine task with a difficulty of 2 to another character within reach. If you complete the task, the patient is no longer defeated. Alternatively, you may use a daring plus medicine task with the difficulty equal to the injury severity to treat the injury that the patient has suffered. A treated injury no longer imposes any penalties, but it's still an injury, and it will need proper medical treatment to remove entirely. Further, complications may result in a treated injury reopening during strenuous activity. So longer-term healing cannot be done during combat. An injured character requires medical treatment to remove an injury completely. And that's a control medicine task with a difficulty of X, and usually takes X hours to heal. So in this case, he is considered defeated. He's on the ground and he's down. Just a quick tricorder scan without even having to make a roll, you can see that that is actually the condition of the older Orion male as well. Doesn't look like he's that much older than the teenager, though. If the young Orion who's been stabbed is in his late teens, the Orion that's laying unconscious might be the equivalent of early 20s, mid to early 20s. It is worth noting that the older Orion male that's unconscious has a jacket that has the crew patch, indicating that he is a member of the crew of the Kalikan. He is currently unconscious, and your tricorder scans would tell you that he has taken a pretty hard hit to the head. So, with that, they're going to be transported back up, but that's going to beam those two out of there. This is going to require, I'm going to add a little to the scene, a little flavor to the scene. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to say, go ahead and make me, this is going to be on Baya. And I would say if you would like to help, Commander.
All right.
Setting up the pattern buffers to get them back to do a site-to-site transport directly to sickbay.
Yes.
So if you would like to do that, I'll let you assist the roll. So in which case, yeah. So in which case, this is going to be a control engineering check for you, Baya.
Okay.
And then, however, whatever you think you can call on here. If you want to get creative here, Commander, to help think of it, the task is essentially fine-tuning and getting these transporter buffers set up and activated so that you can quickly beam these two off planet without having any further issues with interference from the magnesite.
Could I buy a die?
Yes.
What's up, Sam?
I withdraw.
Okay. I feel like even though it's 1 point lower, daring engineering, perhaps.
Sure. Daring engineering makes sense because you were trying to act quickly.
Yeah.
And decisively without sparing any time for thought.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your roll. The difficulty of this is only 1.
I rolled exactly the number I needed.
Oh, excellent. Okay. How did you do, Baya?
So I rolled 2 successes.
Okay.
And a 20.
Okay.
There she is. She wandered from my dice tray to yours.
Yeah, over here. We're hanging out now.
Come back.
Give her my best.
Did you say
So
the
that's-
difficulty was 2 for that?
Was-
or
Was 1.
1?
The
Okay.
difficulty was 1. Yeah.
So we
we
rolled
get
3
2.
successes. So we get 2 back. And then also I rolled a complication.
And I'm going to bank that threat.
Okay.
I think we're maxed out on momentum.
I have us at 5.
Oh, I didn't.
I just spent 1. so
Yeah,
you get a
no,
bonus
right.
die.
I didn't track
Yes,
the one
yeah.
you spent. Okay.
I'm glad
Okay.
somebody else is tracking with me because it's a good,
Mhm.
it's a good
Then we
to double
got
check.
Yeah.
2 successes from Eliza on a difficulty 1 check, so then we were back up.
So we were down to 3 because I spent 1. And
Okay,
then it was
okay,
a
I
level.
follow now.
Yeah, it was a difficulty 1, and we rolled 3 total.
I was rocking the wrong baseline. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. As the pattern buffers are set up, you hear Lieutenant Commander Pavin say, Pride, we have the pattern buffers up. You can go ahead and energize now. It's directly to sickbay. And you hear that beautiful chiming sound as you see these curtains of energy immediately glow and form around the two fallen Orions as they beam back to the USS Pride.
Fantastic.
Pavin stands up and says, all we need to do is get this escape pod out of here and we are done.
I had been directed to look in the escape pod. Did I find anything noteworthy?
There was no one in there.
Ooh, okay. I don't know how
The
I feel about
computer,
that.
you can see the lights flickering. The lights in the consoles are flickering as it's still kind of fighting to have power, but the shuttle has taken catastrophic damage. This is not going to fly on its own accord. It's going to have to be tractored out of here for sure. It's not going to be able to use any thruster power. Structural integrity of this is probably just enough to have kept the shuttle from falling apart. But you notably do not see that any of the seats that have the safety harnesses that come down over the side when they're being launched from a vessel that's just being destroyed, none of them have been activated. There's only one that has been activated towards the front of the shuttle.
Hata calls into the shuttle. Everything all right in there, Lieutenant? Or are you an ensign? Sorry.
I'm an ensign.
Ensign.
I'm a baby.
Ensign.
I'm a baby. There's no one here.
All right then.
But it's a strange. It feels like that's a piece of information that was maybe strange because I thought that we were supposed to have a full escape pod full of people.
There's
and it can
not?
hold about. No, there's no one in here. And she shouts like out the door.
All right.
Pavin breaks down the last of the transport, the pattern buffers, and stows it back into one of the heavy duffel bags. Gently sets it down and steps into the sparking dark cavern that is this crashed down lifeboat. Clicks on the light of the tricorder and just starts shining it around.
Baya points at the one seat that's had the straps engaged. It looks like only one person was seated. Either that or every other seat malfunctioned, and then also the crew disappeared when they landed. And I feel like that's much less likely, but do we have a manifest? Do we know how many people we were supposed to find in the last ship?
That's a good call. Baya, why don't you get on the computer up at the front, see if you can get power and find out if there's a manifest or at least a ship log and do it fast.
On it.
And I'm going to ask Griffin 1 and the Pride taps on the communicator and says, Griffin 1 away team, you don't happen to see anybody else running around out there, do you? Because we only did see 2 survivors down here, and there's only evidence that there was 2 survivors. I'm having our ensign check the ship logs right now.
Are we new scene?
No, same scene. So basically, Cadence starts doing a circle, fly around. However, up at the Pride, if Raleigh would like to roll a sensor scan to see if they can detect anything.
Oh, I cannot overstate how much I would love to do that exact thing because this magnesite first made me think that this whole system and everything going on here was 6 light years different in distance than I thought it was. Then I thought that plasma was antimatter. Do you know how much I would like to kick this magnesite and its spectral signature's ass?
I don't usually allow that kind of salty language on the bridge. Well, why not? Let's feel
I don't
a little
usually
spicy today.
I don't usually have I don't usually have lieutenant science officers make a check to resist the call of the beast.
And you won't today. I have no interest in resisting.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, so
Would you like a momentum?
I would love a momentum.
Okay.
Okay.
Put this
I
down to 4.
would also I can't do it quite off of the top. I can't create trait from circumstantial bonus necessarily off our existing momentum pool, can I, Eric? Because I just studied the absolute heckity out of key minerals that have been messing with my sensor solution, and I'd love some trait out of that.
Could spend an ox point.
So you want to build a trait using you can so
Basically, I feel like there's some circumstantial bonus, and trait seems like the STA idiomatic way to represent it.
yeah. Spend 2 momentum to establish a new trait in the scene, or to change, increase the potency of, or remove a trait currently in play. The trait you create must relate to the task you just passed, and it must be something that would result in your actions.
So I didn't get a moment to do it immediately off the back of the extended task because we rolled into a bunch of more extended tasks and I didn't know what was going on and I just wanted my die to roll to 20. But given that it's back up to where it's relevant again, still a good time to spend for okay.
That works.
All right. Yes.
Ox crew. Thank you.
Where does my trait come from? From whom it does
This is coming from Michael Harris.
Woohoo!
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Thanks for doing science with us.
Thank you. I will use this to locate beings who are not armored in magnesite, specifically beings of a given size who are not covered in magnesite.
All right.
And let's see, what's the difficulty? Because the trait adjusts that.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's a difficulty 2 check.
Okay.
Yes.
So down to 1 with the spectral familiarity.
Yes, because you've purchased that. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 down to 2 or 2 down to 1. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay. Who's ready to roll Pride?
I've been doing it the whole time. If someone else wants to take it,
Rainbow die. I mean, you have the key qualification.
I mean, you do have the rainbow die. I
No.
mean,
stuck in the tube. I can't get it out.
Oh my gosh, you are not worthy of the rainbow die.
It's the only one.
I can't get it. I've literally been sitting here for the past like 45 minutes trying to get out of the tube.
only the once and future queen can pull the
Literally, I'll try it. I'll crack it open later. But so if someone else wants to take it,
All right, I'll take it. All
right.
okay.
Oh, what do we
Computer
roll
science.
on Pride?
All right, this is sensor science.
Sensor science. Let's
Yep.
go. So that is gonna be sensor science.
11 or
11 and
Yep.
under. All righty.
Which is about average score for.
How Tweety Gramp decided to roll a 1 today.
Oh, okie dokie.
That brings us to a total of 3.
All right. So bank that bonus momentum. You have stuff to obtain information should you choose. Sensors do not detect any other non-life forms of the Toyota, any other non-Toyota life forms down there aside from the away team.
Was that a 1 or 2 bonus momentum? I lost the.
I believe it was
difficulty.
2, wasn't it? 2
It
bonus.
was 2 bonus. It was a difficulty 3 check, or difficulty 1 check, 3 successes.
3 6. Got it. Okay, beautiful. We maxed out then.
Yes, you are.
Go team.
Yep. No other life
no, I'm
forms
spending those.
detected.
Yes, I just want to keep track of them.
You do detect
Okay.
the 2 Toyota that are fleeing for their lives. They're still in a full run right now, headed back towards their respective battle.
Okay.
There's obtain information here. I smell it. If I obtain information as expanding the scope of my search on sensors, does that feel right, Eric?
I mean, scanning a larger portion of the continent or some such?
Larger area, or maybe not immediately here. There's something. I agree with Ensign Bayan and with Commander Hataben. Something is, Captain for want of a better term, hinky here.
I can give you this. You're not detecting any other life forms at all. You guys don't have a full complement of exactly how many people you've rescued because it's pure chaos right now and people are beaming into the cargo bay. You have 2 people accounted for right now in sick bay that are about to go under emergency medical procedure to save them. So you don't know what the full complement is. You should probably get that going, but sensors are not telling you that there's anyone else down on this planet. With the obtained information, the only other thing that you see that's kind of anomalous is that the lifeboats, I described them before as like advanced. They were the thrusters on these, if you remember correctly, I mentioned that the thrusters on these were designed to help them soft land wherever they landed. So they have thrusters all over the lower quadrant of the ship so that they can brake as they need to, reduce speed as they need to. Judging from the severity of the crash and the impact, thrusters didn't fire properly because the descent, in order to have crashed down where they are right now, again, either it lost power or someone didn't know what they were doing. That's the most standout thing that you notice about the crash site, since you have a good overview side of it. Life form wise,
the crew. There wasn't the not knowing what to do. Okay, life form wise.
Life form wise,
Only
you
more
do not
sensors.
detect anyone else on this lifeboat.
Surely.
We have one more roll to make when you're done with this.
Okay. What kind of role is that, Eric?
That is Ensign Baya, who went up to the front of the ship to try to access the computer core to find out what the F went on here.
Yes.
When you reach the front of the ship, you see the flickering lights indicate that the power in this vessel is dying, and it's losing it pretty rapidly. So you probably have a small window of time to try to access any of the currently available memory. Not that it couldn't be recovered, but
Yeah,
right
but
now,
this.
what's that?
It'll be easier if I can do it like this.
Yes. In other words, you're probably not going to get more than one shot at this.
Yeah.
So if you're going to access the computer core of this heavily damaged ship, go ahead and make whatever rolls you think were going to be the best for doing that. And I can tell you that the ship will be able to assist. It is going to be at a penalty, but it is going to be using its computers and engineering.
What?
Which I
Really quickly.
Yeah.
What kind of systems are on this ship? Like, there's life support. There's like the
Your standard
thrusters,
systems.
engines,
Yeah.
computer
Life
system
support.
stuff.
Yeah. Sensors, engines.
Could I give myself more time by rerouting power and just like push all of it into computers to give me more time to like investigate?
No, it's a system-wide power failure that's happening.
Okay.
There's no reserve power.
Okay,
Rerouting power from one into the other might buy you seconds, but not enough to actually
not
do.
enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then I'm gonna do daring engineering, I think, because I got to make it quick. That should try to recover this before it's gone.
If somebody wants to roll computers engineering, you need a 5 or lower.
I'll do it.
Okay.
5 or lower.
Oop, I'm in the wrong character sheet. Hold on. There we go.
Nope.
Ooh, I got one success.
Okay. So, yeah, that's not going to do it. The difficulty is.
Captain.
Yes, Captain.
I would like to use my commanding officer talent. I may spend a point of determination to grant any character that I can communicate with 1 point of determination. This does not have to be linked to a value.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm a support character. I don't know if I have access to determination.
Yeah, because you have values.
If you have values, you have access to it. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a good.
Well, this is my mission right now. It's
so it does count.
in.
But yeah, that's a good point. If this was an NPC, obviously it wouldn't have worked. But yeah, since you're a supporting character, you can do it.
Okay, cool.
So for the determination spend, then you'll be able to do a reroll if you choose. You can reroll one of those dice or both of them.
So you've got a few options with the determination.
That's true. You don't have to reroll.
You've got a moment of inspiration. You may spend determination on the task roll. After the dice have been rolled to reroll any number of d20s, you could have a perfect opportunity. You may spend determination on the task roll before any dice are rolled, but after you've purchased any extra dice to select a single d20 and set it so that it counts as having rolled a 1. Or special technique, you could temporarily grab any talent you want.
Well, so it is worth pointing out, though, that only a few of these can be done after you've already rolled the dice.
Right.
Which she has.
Okay.
Yes.
So for spending the determination on this, you can do a reroll for sure.
Okay.
Which would be a moment of inspiration. But if you're trying to get a perfect opportunity to get the critical success, you would have had to have done that before you rolled the die.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do the. Okay.
Oh no.
Well,
There's just
okay.
too
One
much.
thing I can do. Hold on. Okay, so I
Okay.
only rerolled one of the two because I knew the other one was a success. I
Yeah.
can chance. We're trying to reroll the other one, and maybe I'll crit.
You could
But if
try.
I'm gonna fail, if I'm failing anyways,
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Why
Okay.
not?
Come on, Baya. No.
You
No. No.
start tapping into the computer console,
it.
and you hear a few of the affirming chirps coming out of the computer, and then there's a sparks arc outwards from the right side of the cockpit, and it's all of a sudden the power just goes,
Oh,
and it goes offline. All the
Chief.
lights in the interior shut down.
Chief, I think I missed my chance.
All right, we got to get out of here. So pull the core. We'll take it back with us.
I start pulling.
Stepping back out of the pod, tapping on the communicator that opens up the channels to everybody. Pavin says, USS Pride, this is a away team. So we don't see any evidence of anybody else around here. Can you confirm?
Captain, I can tell you there's no one on sensors. I can't quantify the bad feeling I have about this. That there's something I'm missing. I mean, there's always something I'm missing.
Captain Jared is going to turn the entire chair around and look at you and just go, tell me exactly what you think in this moment. Disregard rank. What are you thinking?
Ship is in trouble. People go to lifeboats. 2 of the lifeboats fill up. And we secure those. One of the lifeboats only has 2 people. That's either some kind of selfishness and an existing engineering problem, or something went weird with the boarding of the lifeboat itself, whether social or mechanical. The escape pod also didn't land the way that someone would land it, on purpose. And there's certainly the right kind of crew to be able to do so. Again, indicating either something was wrong with the people or there was something wrong with the machine. The escape pod I couldn't really look at till after the pilot jocks get it back up, but something's...
Hinky.
It's Hinky, Captain!
Captain,
Yes, Commander.
could someone ask the captain of the Kalikan if they are aware of how many people boarded that third escape pod?
You beat me to it, Commander. Tactical, I need a count of everyone that's come aboard the ship, and I'd like a close eye on them if you could. Can you confine them to a comfortable location? Let's make them feel like home, but let's not let them see the kitchen. Dinner's not done yet.
Subtractive identification. Head count. Who was on the ship? Who don't we have yet? I like it, Captain.
Hinky.
And with
All
that,
right.
Get to the bottom of it. We'll fight with as many sensors and data as we need to find it.
with that, we're going to pause, take our 10-minute break, come back and try to find out the mystery of what the heck is going on here with the escape pod. But at least for now, the immediate danger of being spotted by the native species of this world, at least for the moment, seems to have subsided. But now something else is happening. We'll be back in 10 minutes. See you then. We're coming back from break, and I kind of feel bad because Sam was going into science about butterflies.
Well,
And that
it's
was
just, how do they remember? Because, you're trying to figure out insect memory so that you don't accidentally the prime directive. But, like, how
how in the process of metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly do their brains reassemble, and there's a bunch of cool science in it. Go check that out, because science is cool and nature is very cool, and we happen to be on just a very nifty planet, both
That
in game and
is
out of
very-
game.
That is very, very true. You're saying that in a very, very time appropriate. I just last night bought Planet Earth 1, 2, and 3 because I did not own them, and it bothered me. I didn't know there was
The
a
beauty
3.
of our planet is always timely.
That's awesome.
So true.
All right, back into it then. Mystery is starting to brew a little bit here. You guys have dispatched essentially some crew to go down and start taking a head count of everybody that was brought aboard the USS Pride. The question is, what is the manifest of the total manifest aboard the ship? Now, you do have the captain aboard, and the captain should have that information. So there is that as well. What's up?
Can I just clarify? I know in-game Captain Jaren requested what you're saying, but
Mhm.
Hata specifically said, can you ask the captain if they know who was loaded into the escape pods?
Mhm. Right.
Okay. I just wanted
So-
to make sure that.
Yeah.
question out.
That's the second part of what I was saying is that not only have you requested that, but Captain Wessot is the person that you guys are currently looking for, because if anyone was to know what the story is behind that escape pod, it's going to be him. What I would like to know is who is talking to him, who is having a scene with Captain Wessot.
Jared will do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Captain's the only one on the ship.
Captain to captain.
It's true. Your team is pretty much doing everything. So this would be, I'm absolutely picturing this set up like a scene from TNG, where the camera's pulled back and we see the large double doors of the cargo bay slide open as the captain strides in. Captain, when you move into your cargo bay, Excelsior class refits have a pretty, this one in particular, the USS Pride has an expansive cargo bay. This one is being used right now as triage. So you see a lot of the equipment has been moved aside. A lot of the things that have been laid out, a lot of the repairs that were being done have been rapidly moved aside and stowed. And you see refugees, colonists, all finding themselves in comfortable spots with makeshift beds, all been placed out. There is a punishing lack of medical staff down here. You count maybe 7 blues right now, currently taking scans, running tests, using dermal regenerators, testing people for respiratory issues from all the gases. It looks like a couple of the volunteer staff of the Aux crew, some operational and other science officers are down here who have gotten any kind of basic first aid training at Starfleet Academy. This is really underscoring how the USS Pride is still very much not fully staffed, and how cavernous this place feels, how outnumbered you all feel as Starfleet officers aboard your own starship. But you do spot Captain Wessot having a conversation with a woman who currently has what looks like a device on her elbow that has a diagnostic blinking scan going through it. You recognize it as it's a medical device that basically knits bone back together, regenerates bone in a short amount of time. She has it slung up against her arm right now, and she's having a conversation. She looks pretty. It's not accurate to say. It looks like she's covered in soot. Like she's had her face inside of a wall paneling that was on fire. Her hair is matted back. You can see sweat has kind of pasted a lot of her hair to the side of her face. But she's talking to the captain with some sense of relief and nodding back and forth. The two of them are having an in-depth conversation as the Bolian is talking to her. You stride up to him and he takes a look at and says, "Oh, Captain. Oh, Captain. This is my first officer, Tanya Keel. Sorry, Creel. I always call her Keel because she's first officer and Keel, you know."
I get it. Lovely to meet you.
Tanya,
Captain.
the woman nods to you and she says, "I've never found it funny, but thank you."
In that case, Creole it will be. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Captain Sheeran, and welcome aboard the USS Pride.
Thank you. Thank you for saving us. I didn't think we were going to get a Starfleet vessel out this far. I thought you guys were all busy saving Romulans.
Oh, we're never too busy to save you.
Lucky for us.
I I do hate to interrupt. There is just a matter of, well, Captain, I need hands on your manifest.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's going to be back on the Kalikan. I can give you command access codes if you want to link up to it with the Pride and just take whatever you need. My whole roster and crew manifest is available.
That sounds lovely. Is there any way I could insight check? Just
Sure.
We've been talking hinky, and I
Yes.
I trust my science officer.
Yes, absolutely.
Mistake.
Alright. My first and last. I'm assuming that's going to be insight command.
Hold on. There's a whole method of social combat.
I know. I was pulling it up as we were
Yeah.
going.
We've already seen it used once. You guys gave stress to somebody.
Page 279.
I don't think this is going to be a contested role because he does not know he is being. It's not really a negotiation. He doesn't know that he's not. Well, hold on a second. Okay. It's not really an initiative check here. Yeah, go ahead. And I'm going to say the difficulty of this is just going to be 1.
Okie dokie. Well, with that, if it's insight command, that means I need to roll under 16.
Jeez. Do not play poker with Captain Jaren Idril.
That is a 10 and a 1.
Okay, so bank that. You get the impression he is riding the adrenaline high of being alive. It's probably going to settle in on him that his entire livelihood might be lost if that freighter goes bye-bye, and it seems like it is. But right now, you get the impression that the state of being that he is in right now, it's difficult to tell with Bolians because they all typically tend to be kind of affable by their very nature. Bolians tend to be very upbeat and affable. It's just part of who they are, part of their culture. You're pretty sure this isn't typical Bolian behavior, though. You're getting the impression, Captain, that he might kind of be close to being in shock. Like he's not really settling in to everything.
I'm still getting acquainted with the Pride myself. Would you mind joining me in a conference room? It might take me some time to get those codes into the Pride.
Sure, yeah. Are you going to be okay here? Tanya just nods. She goes, yeah, we're all just resting at this point.
All right.
Oh, and don't forget to ask him when you get a chance. And he goes, yes, I will. Yes. Okay. Let me know if you need anything. I'm just a communicator away, okay? Or use the starship communicator, I guess, because it's Federation Starship and you guys all have communicators. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Lead the way, Captain.
Of course. And I'm just gonna lead the way, and just as a comedic beat. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to like see Zoe go. It's we're heading towards the conference room.
You almost hear her squeak as she turns around. Oh, Captain.
Yes,
Sir.
We're
Conference room.
Conference room.
Her eyes widen as it dawns on her that you're trying to initiate a secret message and she's not getting it. You just see her, you see the fear in her eyes. It's like it's a moment like if you like me have had any experience stage acting and your fellow actor in a scene with you realizes that you just skipped an entire paragraph of dialogue and their eyes widen. Because now you got to find a way back. It's
I know all about
reaction.
that, Latia.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And on that
Very
night,
good backstory.
gauntlet was thrown. I'm gonna get a text, and she's gonna be like, "Did no one fucking say something?"
No one's gonna even send it to her. She's just gonna know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get a text, and she's gonna be like, "Hey, so can I guest on Last Excelsior?"
Actually,
I'm so
that'd be
sorry. I'll
really
be right
fun.
back. I just got a message.
Yeah.
Junior
Let's
year
come hang out with
Godspell.
us.
She knows what she did. All right.
Latia, come hang out with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, after seeing Zosnagi, it's just like I would like to take our guests to the good, the better, the repaired conference room, which is of course this way.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay, wonderful, thank you. It's just gonna go in the direction he still doesn't know the ship.
She stares after you. You see her, she took one step like she thought she was going with you or leading the way, and then she stops.
Yep, it's just gonna keep going. Like they're both awkward at this point.
And she, completely lost, just goes,
And then I'm just gonna
and
take
then
him to
walks, and then she walks away.
yeah, then he's just gonna take him to the conference room.
Okay, you head up to deck 1 behind the bridge and step into the conference room. We, of course, are pulling from, you know what? This is going to be a little bit of a treat, and this is a great way of promoting our interior artist who I absolutely adore. But I'm going to direct anybody who is watching this. Oh, and Noir, if you are on YouTube, do feel free to send this over to our YouTube viewers. But I'm going to post a link to Tadeo's art station because we are using Tadeo's interior builds of an Excelsior class refit as reference for the interiors for the USS Pride. I'm going to post this in chat, and let's hope to God Nightbot doesn't kill me. There it is. And then I'll send you the link right here in video.
And over on YouTube, Amy Bauer is talking about how uncomfortable our chairs look, but it's okay. It's the future. It's made out of future fluff.
Future Fluff is a band name. All right. So you head into the conference room. Stepping inside, he looks around at the sculptures of the vessels previously carrying the name Pride. Located on the wall. Curiously enough, there is only one other vessel. The destroyer class World War II ship that served is on the wall, and the Excelsior class refit. But you also see the placard as well for the USS Pride, noting all the different captains that have served on this ship over the 83 plus year history that this ship has been in service in Starfleet, noting each refit that she has gone under. This room, and it's occurred to you many a time before, Captain, how many senior staff meetings across 80 years, the tours of duty, the things that this ship has seen. You see that it kind of starts to settle in a little bit on Wesset as well, as he runs his hand along the tops of one of the chairs and just says, you really don't see too many of these ships in service anymore, do you? I can't remember the last time I saw one like this.
I'm not nearly as well acquainted with her as I would like to be, but
Really? Temporary post, I guess?
something like that.
Or new? Or are you new?
Is it so obvious?
No, it's not. In fact, that's why I'm throwing some guesses out there.
Well, I thank you for the compliment. Please have a seat.
Thank you. Oh, isn't that beautiful? He notices the planet outside the window as he takes him a second before he realizes it's actually the view screen and goes, oh, wow, huh? This is much nicer than mine. Mine is literally just my my office. And he sits down in one of the chairs. Says, you have plants. That's also very nice.
Funny enough, finding your ship is the first thing that I've done with my ship. Our ship.
Really? Wow,
Yes.
so very, very new. Listen, I'm sorry. I know you called me up here for a reason, Captain, but I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to you. I tried talking to you on the bridge, but you were very busy commanding. And now that I have you, there's I understand that you managed to rescue more of our people, and I'm grateful for that. But you wouldn't have happened to have seen 2 Orions, have you?
Now that is a very interesting question.
Is that a yes?
Perhaps. Can I ask why? Are they perhaps missing from your crew? Should we go back to your ship and see if we missed anyone?
No, they wouldn't be on the ship anymore.
Space is unfathomably large. Where might they be?
I don't know.
That is concerning. Will they be in danger? I could perhaps scurry some resources to put out a rescue mission.
Yes, please. The lifeboats, they're not really designed for, anything. They're just designed to get away from a ship that's about to crumble. Not really able to sustain life support for longer than a month. And if they're out there lingering, they could be in danger. Plus, it's been a while since they were maintenance. That's on me. That's largely because I lost a lot of crew during my last run.
I'm sorry to hear that, truly.
Thank you. It wasn't for misadventure. It was because I couldn't afford to pay them anymore, and they all quit on me. I couldn't blame them for that. Business has been pretty... There's a lot happening right now, and there's a lot of people like me that have a starship that can help. And anyway, there's just an element that's not great about taxi service these days,
Well, I believe that the prophets brought me here for a reason. And if the reason is to help, then let's find out how I can help. What's going on that has the taxi service in such disarray?
Well, I mean, of course, the syndicate and a bunch of other issues coming up. Never mind the Ferengi trade union. But there's a lot of people that are trying to take advantage of people that are trying to find new homes quickly. I don't know anything because I'm not Starfleet, but I do know that the whole, Hobus star thing that's apparently sometime in the future is causing a lot of folks to not have a lot of confidence that they're getting moved fast enough. I don't particularly have a sense of scale, Captain. Honestly, I'm not a scientist. I've always just been mostly a pilot and kind of an engineer. But point is there's a lot of folks that I think feel a little ignored, and they're reaching out to folks like me to try to find a new start, to get away from all the stuff that's happening. Sometimes you find good people, and sometimes you find people that can exploit that kind of thing. Anyway, a lot of my crew, I think, were looking to make more money than I was willing to charge, and in the last crew that stuck around, I think I lost most of them in the engine room. So it's been a tough couple of days.
I could see that.
The life pod, there are 2 people in it. My second officer was prepping, and I don't know why he would do this. He didn't seem like the type, but he left us. We should have been able to get everybody off the ship, but he left us, and I had to think fast, and I just ordered everyone to the front of the ship and a small engineering crew to the back of the ship to try to stop it from blowing up. And then I never heard from them again. And then I heard that we were about 4 minutes away from blowing up. So I was just about to start holding everyone's hands when you guys showed up.
Well, there's a few things I'd like to address. One, you say that you don't know much because you're not Starfleet, and let me tell you firsthand that that's not necessarily the case. And 2, my father petitioned Starfleet during the occupation, and we were also ignored. I know the feeling. Starfleet makes mistakes. they correct them too. That's why I'm here. So we have located 2 Orions. One of them is injured. We are doing what we can. Oh, both of them are injured, one critically so. We are working on restoring them.
Okay.
There are some things about this situation that, for lack of a better word, I've been told by my most trusted counselor. Well, actually, I just met them. It's rather hinky, and I'm hoping that you might be able to.
I think the universal translator knows that word, sir.
Honestly, I don't either, but it sounded smart, so I'm just kind of, by the grace of the prophets, I'm learning a lot today. So,
Sure.
is there anything about your circumstances, or about these Orions, or about the escape pods that may present a threat to me and this ship?
Oh, not that I can think of. My second officer, the Orions. My second officer's name is Rozik. He's been a good guy. He and I, he was kind of functioning as somewhat of a fallback. If anything were to ever happen to me, he knew how to fly the ship. So, he's always been a good guy. The other one is Limriz, and Limriz is his younger brother. The 2 of them have always been stand up. I mean, Limriz doesn't really carry his weight, but he's young. I think his older brother was trying to give him some experience. But they're both pretty harmless. I mean, Rozik drinks a little too much, but that's about it. He never drank on duty. And Limriz he kind of talks a little tougher than he really is, but I always thought he was okay. I mean, I was like that when I was his age, so I can't hold that against him. The escape pods are they're junk. You know, when you're not making a lot of money to maintain a ship, Captain, you got to kind of just focus on keeping her flying, you know? And I figured if I could just make some a little latinum here, a little latinum there, eventually I'd be able to afford to update and upgrade and repair. But these colonists really don't truck in latinum. So I'm in the wrong business for upgrades, but I didn't expect to get hit by Romulan mines either. So
that is the other matter that I would like to talk to you about.
Oh, sure.
I would like to be transparent with you. As it stands, my ship is severely understaffed. Again, we are on our way to pick up the rest of my crew.
Okay.
And so we do not have the capacity to retrieve your ship.
Okay, I was ready for that. Do you think it'd be okay if we found somewhere to put it so I can come back for it? Maybe Starfleet can bring me back and then get it towed to somewhere, maybe?
I don't want to give you false hope. I can tell you with certainty that the Pride will not be taking part in any missions involving the recovery of your ship. However, I did call Starfleet. They are sending assistance.
Oh, so they could tow me?
I can't give you a yes, but I can tell you that it's not necessarily a certain no.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to sound ungrateful. It's just that if I lose that ship, I've lost everything. It's all I've got left.
No. As long as your heart's beating, you still got something. And maybe you might want to take a moment to breathe. You can't let your crew see you sweat. And after you recover, you might want to consider that maybe the prophets or whatever you subscribe to might have put you here to change your course. It sounds like you would like to do good. And I know we could use more people like that.
What do you? Oh. I thought you were offering me a place on the ship for a second there.
Would you like one?
Really?
Well,
Wait.
last I checked, I am the captain. I am the captain, all right?
You can just do that. You can just give me a. What would I do? I mean,
What can you do?
he stands up and goes, just. I mean, what do you want? Like, I mean, I know how to clean plasma conduits. I mean, you don't clean a plasma conduit. But, yeah, I know how to keep them from blowing up, and I have a lot of knowledge of the outer systems out here. Beta Quadrant in particular, do a lot of runs. Starfleet doesn't do that all the time. I might have connections too that could help. Like, be sort of. I can make a decent drink. I can.
Well, you said something that caught my ear, and again, I think that the prophets are funny in the way that they work. I know someone that could use a good pilot.
Well, pilot's what I do. I mean, I mean, I was literally, mom had me strapped in her lap when she was flying shuttles as a baby. It took me a while to realize that the universe didn't naturally do this. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got somebody to introduce you to, and I think you're just gonna get along just fine.
Is this real? Are you really doing this? Are you really? I could join the crew. I could join you.
Well, our fabricators are pretty good at making uniforms, so I think we'll be just fine. I'm sure that there's paperwork and bureaucracy that will need to be done, but until such time, I think it might be good for you to get familiar with the ship. Keep your people in mind, keep your people safe, and after the mission, let's talk.
I can't thank you enough. He just gets up and he says, "I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to get used to being called captain. Captain, you're a captain, sir. Thank you."
Until the paperwork is over, how about you stick with that captain?
Right.
Give you some time to say goodbye to it.
Don't want to jump too far ahead here. I really don't know what to say. If this is real, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm gonna offer my hand.
He takes your hand and then he puts his other hand over the top of your hand and says, "No, I mean it. Thank you so much."
My people suffered while Starfleet ignored our cries for some time. We need more people who can ignore those kind of voices. Welcome. I'm gonna go back to the bridge. Take that moment.
Yeah,
I see you sweat.
Is it all right if I stayed here and just cry for like 5 minutes? Is that cool?
Only if you don't tell people that I do the same.
Sure thing. Yeah, and I'll manage it because. Yeah.
All right, Captain. And I'm just gonna get up and go back to the bridge.
Yeah. Last you see of him is he like using the chair support. He slumps down on top of it, puts his head down. You see his shoulders shaking as you walk out.
As soon as the door closes, Jared's gonna lean against the wall and take a deep breath of his own. Prophet's got me. I hope that this was the right choice. Then right to the bridge.
Okay. So you have their names, Rosic and Limriz.
I am immediately giving the information and the codes to my number one.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes. Thank you, Captain, for that information.
Anytime, I'm sure if anybody can make good use of it, it is you.
Well, wait, you said the codes? You were giving me codes?
The codes to this ship that is currently still floating in the asteroid belt. Yeah, the command codes to that ship have been transmitted to you as well. So you also have them.
Would that affect anything with the shuttle that we're trying
Shuttle's
to get?
dead.
Okay.
Baya did her best, but that shuttle died on site, so it needs a new power source, and you can get it back online.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna call for Lieutenant Cadence. This shuttle down here is ready for transport.
All right, I'll get the rest of my wing right on that. Captain, is there anything else we need to be doing over here? Or can we get gone and get flying? I need to drill these little shuttle pilots over in Chandler.
I think you're done for the day, and you might want to expand your lesson plan. You've got one more little pilot to prepare for.
What?
Cheering out.
I'm gonna take up an attack pattern.
Weapon systems online.
Great. Red alert.
Computer, beam micro torpedoes onto the bridge.
Sorry, my supporting character. It had to be done.
Okay. What would you all like to do? There's still the matter of getting the shuttle off world is simply a matter of time and logistics. So it is a quick sweep of taking a Griffin wing down there, flying shuttlecraft with the Peregrine at point, and once again initiating a tractor beam sweep to pull this thing up off world. Now, it's going to be impossible to hide that the shuttle crashed down here, but that's not going to be your problem anymore. The indigenous people of this world are probably going to think these two probably ingested some magic mushrooms or something when they were supposed to be on patrol duty. They'll probably have some kind of tale to tell that they discovered green creatures that only had 2 legs and 2 arms and crashed down here in a metal thing. And yeah, for the most part,
Eric,
though. What's up?
Isn't there the storm trade?
There
How
is,
much
yes.
Did this get washed away?
Well, I would say it might do a decent job at affecting the landscape, but storm probably isn't going to wash away evidence of a crash site from the upper atmosphere. But I would say enough of it would probably affect the rock face that you would be able to draw the conclusion, especially if you are from a species that is only just developed the trebuchet. You're probably not going to be able to put 2 and 2 together to say, oh yeah, well, this was obviously a craft that fell from the upper atmosphere during a Star Trek.
After we wrap up all of the put all of our tech back in cases, Baya does like a if you're trying to erase a footstep in the sand, but in the rocks, even though you walked a mile, she erases a cup, the equivalent of erasing 5 footsteps, and it's okay.
It's inevitable. As you're doing this,
it's kicking.
As you're doing this with a very severe tone, you hear Commander Pavin say, "It's too late for that, Ensign. You already messed up.
What'd I do?
You didn't erase any of the marks you made when you placed down the transporter buffers."
Oh, I can do that. And she
Nope, it's too late.
But
You've
we're still
disturbed the
here.
soil and you violated the Prime Directive, and now I have to report you.
Okay. And she looks over at Commander Hata. It's
Commander Hata, you've seen this unfortunate hazing exercise against people who have gone on their first away missions. You've been on the receiving end of them. Every lower decker kind of goes through this. The absurdity of what Commander Pavin just said to her is a dead giveaway, but you can see the delightful purity and wholesomeness of poor Baya's innocence.
she's just got the big, her eyes are already huge and they're dark and it's a fully black essentially, and they get bigger, round, and shimmer a little bit. And she's just got the manifestation of if a fish could do puppy dog eyes is kind of what's happening right now with Baya.
Yeah, it's
a little guppy face.
in Baya's mind. Baya has completely corrupted the natural development of an entire civilization. What's crueler is you don't see Pavin
No.
say anything to correct it, because as the ritual goes, you don't say anything until you get back aboard ship. You just let him sit with that for a second. So
She's just like, okay.
but he does note you were seeing him, and he grins a little bit, but he also knows you don't approve, and he just kind of moves on.
Yeah, I glare at him, and when he moves away, I will kind of saunter over to Baya and say, if any of that were true, we all would be guilty of it. And then I'll just turn and walk to the shuttle.
She has to like walk that statement back.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm
And she
giving you the
stands there.
logic, and you
yeah.
with it what you will.
Yeah.
Make an insight
I
check
think
with a
her-
heavy penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the last little beat on that is her just like, oh.
All right. Well, the shuttle will return to the USS Pride, and you leave behind this world, Tonyoto 4B, orbiting this beautifully huge gas giant here in this very little, like, the system has not been very well explored. When you get back aboard the USS Pride, its docking is not fun, because not only do you have the entire squad, the wing of shuttles and the Peregrine fighter that have all docked here, but even with the expansive shuttle bay, the Pride is currently at capacity for what it can use in shuttle bays. To give you an idea, there were surviving. There were 123 souls that you guys managed to accurately count. What you also learn is that the Kalikan lost 6 crew members. It was also operating underneath its class of crew members. They were 4 people short. So everyone was probably pulling double time to operate the vessel. But the story that you get from the computer verifies everything that Captain Wessett told you. Apparently, they struck a mine. It was logged in the computer, and everything else played out just like he said. The only thing that begs the question is what the hell happened between those 2 Orions and the escape pod, that lifeboat that got shot. That is still unanswered. The computer doesn't have the answer. It just logs that they evacuated just the 2 of them. It also occurs to you that there really was not enough space for everybody that was still left aboard the vessel. But there might have been if the crew and the captain hadn't gone with them. So this could have unfolded in a very different way. But that is what you were able to learn from the computers and from the data core. Data core also actually would have told you that Rozik's access code was used to initiate the separation of the life pod. It would have had to have been. So,
A question.
Mhm.
The escape shuttle, you said only one of the seats safety like harnesses had deployed. Do we get any sense on what that was about? Because you said there wasn't really like a pilot's seat in these
There's-
shuttles. They
there's-
just kind of operate.
there are consoles to the front where a pilot could sit, but there's not.
Okay.
It's not like you can't really finally. It's mostly of just like it's kind of trying to direct the dart after it's been thrown.
So
There's not a lot
someone
of
could have
fine
been
piloting.
sitting in that pilot
Could have been sitting in the
seat
pilot seat. Yes.
at the console seat, and then
Yep.
okay, then that makes sense. I was like, why is only one deployed? Got it.
Down in sick bay are the answers. There are 2 Orions, both of them in recovery right now. One of them suffered severe concussion and is going to make a full recovery. He also had a broken collarbone and a couple of broken smaller bones in his wrist and a fractured leg. His knee was kind of banged up pretty good, but mostly it was the head injury. The younger Orion, the one named Limriz, was suffering a slight case of being impaled. Someone took sharp thing and put it through flesh, and turns out body doesn't operate at optimal levels when that takes place. So he decided to take a nap. he is currently fully recovered, but he is resting. But they are available to you all now. To frame this so you know exactly where we are, you have essentially wrapped up all the objectives here. You've rescued everyone on board the vessel. You've wiped out any indication that would have risked the Prime Directive on this world. You've logged that there were Romulan mines still active in this incredibly dangerous asteroid belt that plays with sensors. And you have all these people to take with you to Starbase 16. Whatever you would like to do, the ship is yours. You have the con.
When I get back on the ship and go back to my bridge position,
Mhm.
I will say, Captain, might I suggest that we mark off the ship with some lights or flares or something, and also mark as many of the mines as we can visibly for the incoming Starfleet help.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. Let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Easy enough to do. You just essentially finding the mines would be a huge undertaking, because if this asteroid belt, which is roughly about 1 AU in diameter, if the whole thing has been mined, then because it's impossible to tell with all the sensor interference, it's going to be pretty difficult to find out exactly where they are. However, you can flag this asteroid belt as a do not enter or proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
To clarify what I meant, definitely like put some type of signal denoting here is the ship, because I think
I'll drop a signal
Captain,
to
you
the
said-
commander.
Yeah.
Captain, you
I'll
said
let
that
everyone know.
there's going to be like someone else from Starfleet coming in to salvage
we've
the
got-
ship, right? Okay.
We've got
Yeah.
Marco coming.
So yeah, just to point them to where the ship is, and then also some of the mines around the ship. So
Okay.
not the whole asteroid belt. Just
Right.
We can
Yeah.
like leave a buoy, like a beacon with
Totally.
like an information transmit that they'll
Wait.
just be able to like get
Wait.
a data packet.
Sure.
Are you suggesting you leave a beacon?
Yes. And then xenomorphs pop out of the minefield and
We already had xenomorphs on
Yes,
the planet.
We did earlier, actually.
Leave beacon is what we're doing. We're
leaving a
leaving beacon.
You're leaving beacon again.
And the bugs with the corrosive inside fluid.
we have
thank
to
you,
leave a
Eliza,
beacon here.
behind. We're leaving it behind.
All right, so Jared's going dark then. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Damn, I'm so
Plug
sorry.
in again. Let's go.
But yeah, Commander, this sounds like a wonderful idea. We'll have tactical and operations work out the specifics of that. Might I have a moment of your time in my ready room?
Yes, of course, Captain.
Whoever will have the card, I'm just gonna go. You have the card. I don't know the specifics.
Somebody has the
It's
con.
only legit to pause and look around, because again, you have a skeleton crew right now. And as you pause and consider who to put in the center chair, you realize currently the highest ranking officer on the bridge is in fact Lieutenant Avrali Shishal.
I think Sharila has it on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't that be?
Lila's here. Yeah.
Shirada's not here on the bridge. She is currently overseeing everything that's going down in the cargo bay, because there's about 120 people who Starfleet doesn't know on the ship. So she is doing what a security officer does at the moment.
Got rocking.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
But yeah, it's okay. It's just this is happening in the background anyway. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So
no Shishara in charge.
yeah.
you have the card. It's the first time doing that. Commander, if you could show me in the ready room.
And I follow.
Okay. So the ready room. Oh, I have the ready room too. Thank you, Tadeo.
Ooh.
So Tadeo did tell me that he is building out an original ready room for us.
Oh my
Because
god.
Tadeo is a mad scientist.
So kind.
But in the meantime,
Gave me all the Elgars.
yeah. In the meantime, I'm once again going to go ahead and post up the link here, and I'll post it in. Again, I want to stress this: it's not as flashy or as pretty as the ready room on a Galaxy class. You don't have any beautiful windows looking to the outside. This is an old school Excelsior class refit. When you step into the ready room, it is simply just a desk with data pads that you need and a small sofa, and it's well lit. You were in the captain's ready room. Oh, I guess that's not true. There is a porthole actually that you can see out into space.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
When he walks in, he's just gonna go, Commander, can I offer you a drink? I'm gonna get myself some tea. That's all I'll say.
I would love some tea as well, whatever you're drinking.
Oh, great. And he makes sweet tea and he passes it to you. Ice sweet tea.
Thank you.
It just kind of almost collapses in his seat. I want to apologize. I know that I haven't made the best first impression.
Why do you say that?
Because my eyes function and I saw the crew. And I know this is their home and this mission wasn't exactly what we were supposed to do. And I just wanted to take a moment to genuinely thank you. For being so competent at your job that you made the earlier mistakes of mine less severe.
Hata's really trying to think of what you're talking about. Hata says, Captain, I can't think of anything that sounds like what you're talking about. Do you mean... Okay, there might have been one thing, but it wasn't that bad. I don't think anyone else noticed.
The Admiral, before he left, he advised me, rather, not to let the crew see me sweat. And I've always been behind the board, thinking of plans, talking. I get anxious.
Captain, I'm sorry to interrupt. Please hold that thought. Do you mind if I activate my... Oh, you don't know. They installed something special for me for when I just need respite from the gravity.
I read that we did have some alterations for a dual environment. Is that what you're...
Well, there's that, and there's also I can just show you. And we haven't discussed this, Eric, since we discussed it months ago, but I'd like to maybe have it be activated through my badge, my comm badge. Like I press it a certain way and it activates my little floaty tank thing.
Yeah, the way I would say, yeah, we'll have to figure, because if we were in Discovery era, that would be so spot on.
I believe it was like a force field.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you can do.
You can call upon.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so what I think you would do is you would just basically tell the computer to initiate Hata-bin protocol, environment protocol 1, and basically it would just immediately erect a specialized force field for right where you are, and use replicator technology to give you exactly what you needed.
Okay, then I do that.
Okay. In which case, in that particular moment, you just see that you hear the familiar sound of the force field just... It's about the same strength as you would find in a brig. It just kind of... You see it thin out a little bit suddenly. And then as it does, the image begins to suddenly distort in front of you. And for a second, Captain, you're not sure if it's because it's a bending of the light. And it starts to occur to you that in that moment, the computer, because of the dual environment systems installed on the ship, the computer immediately uses some of the exterior photonic projections that it has installed. Not quite holographic projections like they had on the Ross, but instead using the dual environment trait that was selected when you guys built the USS Pride. Replicator technology literally beaming in created water and forming a living mobile tank that is literally just looks like a column of water appears in front of you, Captain. Just this gorgeous deep blue water begins to form around her. And after a few moments, it begins to settle, and you can see through it. It looks like this crystal blue pillar of ocean water that has just formed right in front of you. She just kind of slowly sways. And
Yeah, kind of
Hada,
float
you
up.
immediately begin to feel rejuvenated. Just the touch of the water on your skin as it passes into your system as you breathe it in and feel it all about you. The gravity immediately kind of lessens slightly as you begin to touch off from the floor.
And when she starts speaking again, you hear it. D&D rules. She's an underwater creature, so she can breathe and speak underwater. I'm guessing maybe this force field also has some type of ability to pick up her sound and make sure it reaches you.
Could be through the comm badge. It could be some sort
Yeah,
of like
it could be that as
yeah.
well.
Okay.
So she floats up, and just like you notice, she has a like look of relief on her face, and she says, "Ah, that is much better. It has been a long day outside of water."
Been a long road.
Commander, I
Yes.
must say that you look very rejuvenated. You look as though you truly enjoyed that. Can I by chance ask a favor as a friend? If we
Yeah.
could be friends?
Yes.
I would, if it's okay with you, feel very comfortable with you never needing to ask to do that.
Oh, thank you, Captain. That would be nice.
Then consider it a outstanding order. And I have to tell you, of all the orders I've given today, that might be my favorite.
Well, that reminds me of the conversation we were just having.
Yes.
Captain, besides that one thing, are you talking about when you didn't give the coordinates that we were needing to go to the helm?
Yes, and I spaced on procedure of releasing from space dock, and also the speech, and I also I got my uniform stuck in the turbo lift, but I don't think anybody saw that one.
I did not see that.
Oh, good, because this is my second pair of pants today. Not important. What is important is that I want to express my gratitude, and I've read about the greats in Starfleet, the greatest captains, and they are only as good as their relationship to their first. And I would like to make sure that we start off on the right foot.
I would like that as well, Captain. And please, I want to assure you that I know this may not comfort your anxiety, but I want to tell you definitively it wasn't as bad as you think.
Oh, good, because it's been replaying in my head over and over and over again. Anxiety.
I understand. I mean, I don't understand, but I have friends who have had anxiety. If it ever is helpful to you, I know sometimes a logical viewpoint does not help anxiety, but if you ever want just a grounded take on things, logic is where my brain exists.
Thank you. This has been refreshing and rejuvenating and sorely needed.
Wait, refreshing and rejuvenating? Would you like to go for a swim with me sometime?
Can you teach me how to swim?
Of course. I think. Yes. I don't see why not. I've never taught someone how to swim who doesn't already know how to swim.
Well, I never learned how to swim, so I think we're a good match.
All right.
Okay. In that case, of course, we need to keep with procedure, but I'd like to introduce you not as your captain, but as your friend. Hi, I'm Idro.
She sticks her hand through the force field and out to the air to shake yours. Hi, I'm Hata.
I feel safer on this ship already.
Good.
So I think I'm gonna plot a course the right way for the first time.
Wonderful. And if you forget anything, that's why I'm there.
I think I should have talked to you first. I feel ready.
Great.
With that, if we're okay with it, I would like to have Jiren head to the chair.
Okay.
And this time it doesn't feel too big for him. This time it kind of feels right. Helmsman, set course to Starbase 16.
Hi, Captain. Speed.
And Hata follows you out to the bridge, and her tank follows her as she swims forward, and the tank kind of rests just like right behind and next to your chair.
How fast do you think we should go, Commander?
We should probably stay within the warp limit, but we want to catch up and make back time for what we lost from this mission. I say warp 5 is probably safe.
You heard your
and
commander?
efficient.
Hi, Warp 5. Laying in course. Outside, there is the beautiful motion of the Excelsior class refit leaving orbit, pulling away from this great gas giant, flying up and well over the asteroid belt as you start leaving system. A few moments later, the nacelles of the Excelsior glow a bright, brilliant blue. And she jumps to Warp 5 in a brilliant splash of white light, disappearing into the darkness. That is where we are going to conclude tonight's episode of The Last Excelsior. Mission complete. Still an unanswered question, but we can certainly, if you choose to pursue any of that, you have the options, of course, because when we start off the next episode, we will be arriving at Starbase 16, and we're finally going to meet Caitlin's character. Caitlin's main character, who has been sitting patiently at Starbase 16 this whole time, just like checking the watch. Yeah. Well done, y'all. I would say remember to note this in the log. Keep quick track on your personal logs of any virtues or values or determinations that you spent, and make note of that. Noir and Eliza, I'm going to be talking to you about reputation points, which are going to be handed out to the ship, which you can therefore distribute to crew members if you so wish, determine how they served during missions, and also tracking how things unfolded. But for an emergency rescue mission, well done, crew of the USS Pride. Wasn't even meant to be your first mission, and here we are. Next week, we arrive at Starbase 16, and hopefully we'll have Bonnie back. That's going to do it for us tonight, though, friends. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us for all these years, going on these mini adventures with us in Star Trek. We love you. We appreciate you, Ox crew. Thank you so much. We will see you next Monday night. Until then, hailing frequencies are closed.